everyone, and welcome to Charisma Saves. I'm Corn.
Spooky edition.
I'm spooky. You know what the scariest part about corn is? It's basically propping up the entire agricultural sector of the United States, and if it falls apart, so do all the farmers and basically our infrastructure in general.
It's farm subsidies.
It's in everything. That's the scariest part about corn. If I go down, I'm taking you with me. Also, we have the professor. Professor number 3 right there. We have Sailor Scout Uranus.
There actually is a Uranus, but... So...
I didn't say Uranus, did I? We have Yee Yee Ha Ha. And we've got... why are you tiny on my screen? What's going on over there? Why are you little?
It is a little baby.
There you go.
A little tiny.
We got that guy. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Christ. Save us. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So that's a thing. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. So... we have all gathered here. Do we have any announcements?
Can I announce that I know this hat is too small for my head?
No one cares. It looks cool as fuck.
I just wanted to point it out.
New art, as you can see below us.
We do. That was the announcement I wanted to say. New art by our very talented Sailor Uranus.
I'm gonna fucking end you.
I
know. Fuck you.
What'd you say?
Sorry, I spent a whole week doing art of everyone's characters and I didn't have time to change someone's fucking Twitter handle who changed their Twitter handle in the middle of me doing things.
Yeah, but wasn't it, at least it's themed, right?
Yeah.
You've committed.
Yeah.
Alex is the only one that's actually married the show on Twitter.
The show has surpassed his band. Yeah, that's the word.
The rest of us have a brand to keep up, okay?
It dissolved. It dissolved. Did you Yoko your own band? What's that story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just quit.
I just quit.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the whole story.
It's not exciting.
Kind of wish there was some heroin involved. So, there is no heroin involved in any of our lives. Not yet. Not unless you subscribe. If you subscribe, we can afford it. And we can share it. And first to pass out probably dies because the rest of us are high. I can't imagine people on heroin can save people overdosing from heroin, right?
No.
That's probably never happened.
I don't know. I don't know heroin things.
How does heroin work, Randy? You're a doctor.
It's an opioid.
Well, yeah, but how does it work? Is it refreshing?
No, it's a sedative.
Fentanyl, though.
It's probably pretty good. Anyway.
Crack is refreshing.
It makes you stop breathing.
Ooh, so it's basically just like, opting into sleep apnea. That's fine. Okay, so, I think that's good. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? E-Live will probably be next week if we can squeeze 2 days out of the week.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I agree. We have 3 of 4 minis done. Is that chocolate milk?
Yeah.
That's a glass bottle of chocolate milk?
From Baines.
They make chocolate milk?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Professor 3 thing now? Glass bottles of chocolate milk?
You know,
Yeah, she's just
the
obsessed
Professor
with
3
milk.
does like chocolate milk.
Did you just make that up? Or?
No! I decided it after I bought the chocolate milk.
Okay. All right.
Very in-depth writing process here.
Okay.
Stop. No. Stop.
So,
Don't encourage him.
last we left off, the team had traveled to Brown Cedar Hold after spending some time in the what's left over, basically, in your investigation of the Ivory Drift. But heading to Brown Cedar Hold, looking for some answers back in the hometown of both Jurdan and Icillius T. Connor. You headed there because some of you have a bad feeling about maybe business left unfinished in regards to Crosley, the necromancer from ages ago. You use the Hartnell to jump around a couple places. In tow were also Kasdan, Jurdan, and Agnir had come back due to the just wasteland that was caused out west. You'd all convened and spent a little bit of time, and then went to... That is distracting me, and I don't know why.
I said it.
No, I'm not. You are not doing anything wrong.
It's delicious, by the way.
I'm sure it's great. It would make me poop so much. So, my lactose intolerance aside, Professor 2 decided to finally take a look at the book that so many days ago, months ago at this point, you had gotten from Crosley. A book that the first time you looked into it was hard to do from a psychic perspective. You took psychic damage quite a bit. But you had broken through that first save and decided to push no further until last session. Last session, you had still technically had that one push through on the books, decided to look into it again. It was between you and Alenia, but you won the argument, so to speak.
That's fitting.
And with the help of I forget her name, Jade Grenelly, this master magic paper printer, which is what Brown Cedar Hold is mostly known for. She helped you in her back office. You delved into the book and had a psychic moment with some sort of entity that is in the book or is represented by the book or is connected to the book. You don't really know. And after a brief interaction, well, Professor 2 expired in horrifying fashion as Alenia saw his face basically fall into itself, and he died. In an effort to try to save the professor that you promised to keep alive, you went to go out to Agnir for some help, knowing that he may have some crystals needed for the process, and before you could get back, you heard a familiar radiant explosion, and were greeted with Professor 3, a stout elvish woman standing in the hilariously both too big and too small clothes of Professor 2. Kasdan rushed into the room after being held at bay for a little bit, and we pick up there with the last words from Professor 3 being,
"You're one of the only reasons I'm glad I wound up here." Also chocolate milk.
Seeing that in this elvish woman, not at all being the same person, a little portly, much shorter, and obviously not purple skinned, not hair, no hooves,
Forecast.
and not a man. Kasdan stands for a moment, and there's kind of a hush over the room as pretty much everyone but Agnir understands. Even the lady that just met all of you understands there's clearly an emotional moment occurring right this second. Agnir seems unbothered. Egner looks down, now taller than you.
I think pretty much everyone's taller than me now.
And you could see in the eyes of a man that you know you care for, but you can't necessarily place. A million thoughts going through his head. And you see tears well up in his eyes.
Keston?
And he drops down to both knees in front of you. He puts a hand on your face. Just touches your cheek. He doesn't seem to know what to say.
Sorry about the
And then
moves.
he kisses you. And they're just doing that for a moment as they embrace. Jurdan sort of walks up behind you. Oh, good. You see Jurdan probably wiped some tears too.
I should never go back in that brain ever again.
It's a weird sentence to say to me. Jade takes some sort of long steel instrument, takes the top of the book cover and flips it closed, sets it on the desk.
I don't want to interrupt, Professor, but do you have that Ketchum sphere still?
Is
Hold
it still
on.
on my person, or...
Kazan gets up finally. Oh, I thought you were just dead.
That's pretty tough to do.
Oh. Breathes a sigh of relief.
We should get you some clothes that fit you.
Kazan comes over to the...
Yeah.
Walks over to you.
Did you guys get taller?
No.
Kazan looks at you and goes... and whispers. I know you tried. Try not to feel bad. I knew this could happen. And so did he when he was around. She's prettier now anyway. Sort of gives you like a little squeeze on the shoulder.
I look at Jade. I am so sorry
Kind of looks around at the room.
about this.
It's fucked. Like the whole things are just fucking...
Do you... We have some money we can give you to fix your...
I appreciate it. Yeah,
How much do
usually
you...
I'm too polite to say no, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's broken.
Do you think like
Okay.
100 gold is enough to cover the expenses of fixing your room here?
Yes, probably. Either way, I don't think I can help you.
Yeah.
I did not realize what you were bringing. Maybe maybe you underplayed the danger, or maybe you didn't know, which is fine. I allowed you in here, but... Okay, well...
Thank you anyway.
Yes, you may want to try a dolly. She is outside of the city a little bit, down the hill. Just take a left, second house on the left after you leave. She's a transmuter, and maybe help you there. I don't know. I thought spell book, and it's my expertise. This is not it. Are you okay, ma'am?
I'm good. I need a change of clothes and
Yes, you do.
maybe a few step ladders in the Hartnell, but I'm good.
I don't know what a Hartnell is.
Do you have anything in the Hartnell that might fit you, or...
I think so.
Okay.
Is this normal?
It's only happened... This is the second time?
Her dad killed me last time.
This is... kind of normal.
Okay.
Well, maybe we should go back to the Hartnell and get you some clothes, and then we can...
Sits down behind the desk and opens the desk drawer. You hear the rattling of a bottle when she pulls the bottle out.
Also put that book back in the sphere. Holy crap.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about what I saw, well, in the book as well.
You remember?
I assume, yes. Yeah. I don't know what it looked like out here, but it was not pleasant.
I watched your whole face cave in.
Yeah, I felt that. That's what was happening. We'll talk about it on the way.
Okay.
I assume we start.
Yeah.
I'll give her the 100 gold for repairs, and we need to put the book back in the sphere, and then we'll talk.
She takes a drink.
Sorry for the explosion. It's part of it. It's a lot to explain. Just
make sure to take your things.
yeah. I'll put the thing back in the ketchup sphere.
Easy enough. Jurdan walks over to you. Are you taller now?
No.
Like, are you second tallest? Shortest? This is new.
Yeah.
Feels
Wait,
a power
is-
thing.
Is
taller
she
than you?
shorter?
I don't know.
How tall are you?
I left the other sheet at home. It's like 4. It's like
It's for something.
It's 4, 5, or under. It's like ridiculously short for a high elf. It's fucking bonkers.
But
Yeah.
aren't
They're all
you like 4 foot tall?
I'm 4'8".
oh yeah, I'm definitely shorter than him then.
Yeah, we
You're
rolled.
the
We
little
rolled.
tiny one.
When we rolled it, Hugo rolled the exact, because it's random, exact lowest number on the chart. Yeah, and because of the way that that works, it's not necessarily bound to the height of elves.
Yeah.
So you could get a. Well, you can't get Dragonborn, but if you could have got like a kobold-sized Dragonborn at some point.
Could you get a tall halfling?
That would be
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Would that just look like a person?
Like a childlike person.
There's
with hairy feet.
Yeah, there's a little bit of limit, but not like it's not bound to it. Like basically, you have different thresholds. Since halfling is I think technically small, right? So it'd have to be within those bounds, just because of the race. But yeah. Anyway, it could be like a 4.5.
Someone
foot
said
tall.
4'11". Like, I guess they remember.
I think we rolled lower than that.
I'll know for a fact next time we're doing this. I'll have the sheet.
The lowest possible high elf would be 4'8".
Could be that. I don't know what our chart was.
So you guys
I
are
don't
maybe
remember.
about the same height?
Yeah.
Either way. So you all walk to the Hartnell?
So,
Yeah.
what did you see?
Well,
Are you in the Hartnell now? To wait for this, or are you talking on the way?
talking on the way.
Okay.
I was in a field, and there was a tree, and the tree had a black ichor that slowly spread, and it asked me to join it. I refused. It did not like that, and it forced its way into my face.
So.
Well, onto and through.
Yes.
Crosley was probably like.
I assume he chose to work with them. Visual metaphor-wise, it was... How do I put this? Devoury. I could be wrong, but...
Do you think it has something to do with the hunger?
Perhaps.
Yeah, but we killed him.
What do you
He's a
mean?
necromancer. They do that sometimes.
I'm worried that
He
maybe we didn't actually kill him.
I mean, we definitely killed him.
I
I was there. You were there. You fucked him up.
I was the one who delivered the killing blow, but
Yeah.
I don't know if
Did
that.
you not do it right?
I definitely did it right.
There's quite a difference between all the way dead and a little bit dead.
I guess
I'm
you-
a prime example of that.
I don't know anything about necromancers, but I'll kill another one. I mean, besides the obvious, raise the dead and shit, but I don't know how they
Yeah.
do that. I don't have any magic.
He told
He
me.
could have used some sort of phylactery.
He told me whenever I was up there in the tower, I tried to reason with him because I thought this is about his family, you know? Because everything we learned was the fact that he lost his family.
Yes.
And I thought that he was trying to bring them back, which I didn't understand what that had to do with raising an army. But he said something about I have no idea what we're dealing with or that things are beyond.
Perhaps some kind of deal was struck between Crosley and the entity in the book. We may learn more after investigating where we used to live, so.
Okay, this time you're about to the Hartnell. It's not a long walk. You also did see, as you walked out, you did see as you looked, second house on the left from the exit, there is a small brown topped roof on like a white building, and next to it is a sort of open covered like area with like an orange sort of tarp covering what it looks maybe like the business area of that.
Okay. We'll go there once you get a change of clothes.
All right, easy enough. You walk into the Hartnell and to your room.
Yeah, the professor goes and sort of looks at a mirror initially because it hasn't seen herself. Could be worse. Goes into a drawer, looks at different stuff. Finds a pair of old goggles. Is in the room for a while, and then comes out wearing a hat, a bowler hat, with those goggles slightly modified, and sort of a copper flower stuff. Sort of a woman's Edwardian jacket with purple frill fringing and matching pants, purple undershirt. And the
Heeled
glasses of
boots?
intelligence look different.
Oh yeah, the heeled boots.
Yeah, and the boots are heels.
As you walk out of the room, the Hartnell goes. Ding! It's done.
I go and get it. New wand.
See the professor walk over to the console, and out of a little slot, a new wand pops out. Must have slipped the old wand in for a little redo on the way in without you seeing.
You look good.
Thank you.
You know, it's not so much of a boys' club in this party, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while since I got to wear some of this stuff. Anyway.
Well, what are we doing?
Well, should we go see this Adali person, or should we start going into the woods to find old homes first? It seems closer to go to.
Well, Dolly's obviously closer.
Yeah, and then
You had, like, basically four things. Icillius' old home, Adalia's new, the crossroads, and the wilderness. The guide will be able to take you there much faster. But as Jurdan has explained, due to he's like very strictly nature respecting, and he limits the amount of people he'll lead through. Now you can do it all together without a guide, but since it's needle haystack, it seems much faster, just less people. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it.
let's do probably Adali first, and then I think Icillius' home, and
Well,
then
we can split up.
wilderness. I
Because
mean,
only 4 of us can go with the guide, so splitting up would.
I can go with Icillius and Jurdan.
you guys are gonna go to his home.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Also, I feel like our boy could take a break.
What do you mean?
Icillius has been through a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a couple days at home. A little recharge. Or maybe we'll leave immediately. I don't know. But at least the option.
Well,
Or we could just come with you and we could.
do any of you have the
Um,
ability to get in touch with us if something happens, or
You do.
I mean, if something happens to you guys?
What's gonna happen to us?
I don't know.
Neither.
Famous last words. What's gonna happen to us?
I mean, they sell scrolls over at the scriptorium. I'm sure they're sending. Worst case, I'm sure we could find somebody.
Okay. You
Are there
guys go
monsters
ahead.
hiding out at your house, Icillius? Is that a problem?
Shouldn't be. There weren't anyone I left. I think you guys are doing the significantly more dangerous thing here.
That's fair.
You had been known to, like, kill dire wolves and stuff every once in a while, but...
I mean, hopefully they didn't
I'll
organize a
go.
revenge party once I left.
To be fair, that was 15 and a half, 16 years ago,
Dire Wolves hold a grudge.
where Well, the land has been a little bit developed since the diaspora of Gygax as well, so.
I'm being a worrywart. If you're gonna go, take him and go. Because otherwise, I kind of want to be there with everybody. But
For what reason? We split up all the time.
I...
Remember when you went to, like, other planes of existence without other people? Like, that happens.
Yeah.
It's further away than the woods.
It'll probably be okay.
Or the time that you went to Gygax by yourself?
She might just be a little jumpy after watching old Professor's face get eaten.
That's fair.
As long
Well,
as
sure,
they,
but that was when we were all together.
as long as you don't
That's
open any
true.
strange books, you'll probably be fine.
Don't open books.
Don't read.
Ever.
Okay. Well, the rest of us are gonna go to this Dolly person. And you guys can go to Icillius'
It's on the way.
house.
We can stop by. I mean, I think we should probably. How far is the house?
I kind of wanted to be there while we went to the house, just in case, I don't know.
The house is several miles away.
Yeah, it's a little ways out of town.
It's fine.
We'd probably have to rent some horses. Unless we want to walk, which is fine.
Either way is fine.
Okay, it's not a bad walk.
Could always go and come back to the house. We could just wait for you. If there's anything specific you wanted to do there. I have to introduce you to Satantes, though. He's not going to talk to you unless I'm there.
Okay.
So either way.
Would it be weird to go to Icillius' house first and then come back and we talk with the Dolly and then Satantes and then we can go?
I mean, it'd be out of the way by, like, a day. It's up to you. I don't, like...
We don't have much time to wait.
It depends on if you're in a time crunch and you want to, like...
Are we on a time crunch?
Definitely on a time crunch.
I'd rather not stay very long away from Sky Point, considering what's been going on. So the quicker we can do this, the better.
Okay, then we split up.
I mean, it's just splitting up, like, going to his house.
What
Is there
you
something you
said is
specifically wanted to do there?
a whole journey. I just...
Yeah, we're home.
Okay.
What did you... I'm serious. Did you want to do something specific at the house?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't want you to go off into the woods and have unfinished business. We can do whatever you want, whatever order.
No, it's
we
probably
don't have to do Satantes.
faster
It'll just be
if we-
faster with him.
Yeah, trying to find a house in the middle of the woods by ourselves is probably rough.
Yeah, and the Winterlight Woods are hundreds of miles. So,
We would lose so much time trying to find it.
I don't know, I just have a bad feeling about splitting up.
Regardless, we have to split up no matter what.
Think about it this way. One of us has already died today. Statistically, what are the chances another one does?
That doesn't make me feel any better.
I don't
Valid
think
point,
math
though.
has ever made anyone feel better. But
I guess I just don't know what the risk would be at Icillius' old house.
I'm just worried, okay? It
But
doesn't
of
make
what?
sense. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, if anything goes wrong, you'll hear gunshots. Probably.
It's several miles away. Probably not.
Also, I think I'd feel better if Icillius was helping us find the necromancer because said gun, but...
Well, we are taking Egnir. Well, you're taking Egnir. Who's more naturey,
True.
and it's not his house.
I can always check in on them via sending every once in a while,
Okay.
if that would make
I'll
you
be
feel
there to
better.
protect them.
Okay, it's fine. Just, yeah, check on them with sending.
Okay.
have magic. I do things.
Thought you just said you didn't have magic.
That was Kasdan. Kasdan has no magic.
Alright. Let's go do this. We'll meet back here.
I mean, do you want to... Is there a way we can use Rose? I think it's a range thing, huh?
Yeah, I think Rose can only talk in the brain of someone who...
I have one. Can I tell Rose to zoop back to you?
Probably.
That could be our signal.
Okay.
So if something goes wrong, you'll
Rose
send her?
will end up on your shoulder.
Okay.
Just don't be engulfed in flame when that happens.
Got it. Alright, then I'll have Rose fly over to Jurdan.
Because I think it makes most sense to have you, Egnir, and the two of
The
you.
two guys you can see really well.
Well, not just
And
that,
our
you guys have
trackers.
nature.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Rose sort of plops on the shoulder, sort of curls up, and then immediately flies over to Icillius. Alright, I see how it is. Okay, did you want to go to the I don't know the transmuter lady. She must be new. But I do know Sotantes.
We'll go to the transmuter lady. You'll introduce us to Satantas, and then we split up.
Okay. Works for me. Alright. So you walk back up the path to the front of the Brown Cedar Hold. You take a right, since there's a roadway that kind of goes around most of the city. And the second one down, take a left into the place. And again, it's got that that white sort of stucco with wooden beams on the corners, and anywhere that needs a little bit more of a sturdiness. It's got a brown roof. It's looks well used. It probably used to be someone else's house. And it has that little open area. And you do see in the open area, although it's a little bit of an overcast day, you still have a little bit of drizzle now. Seems to have died down a little bit since you'd been in this the print shop. And you see on it seems to be a wooden floor, kind of like a outdoor gazebo area where the wood's been treated, and it's not like it's a little warped in places where it's experienced the elements over the years. And there is a rug laid out in the center. It's a very fine rug. It looks like think like Arab in design when it has a lot of geometric patterning. It's red and has white patterns that sort of spiral into the center in almost this diamond-shaped thing that has convalescing circles in it, and then the edges are fringed with this sort of bronze-colored fabric. And sitting on it, cross-legged, is a shave-headed, dark-skinned woman with banded tattoos around her left arm of different thicknesses and colors. A lot of blacks, grays, and dark blues, but every once in a while there'll be like a red or a yellow or a green. And basically in like the Ancient One clothing from Doctor Strange.
Oh God.
But like a more of a deep red and yellow underneath. And it's got like a loincloth that comes in between, that hangs down, and so her legs are bare, and she's sitting cross-legged with her eyes closed. She's got a large hoop earring in the left ear, made of gold.
want to interrupt her, but...
Seems to be muttering something. You can see, and Icillius can see, just muttering something under her breath.
I'm gonna kind of like walk forward, but not say anything, and like wait and see if she's like
into the gazebo, but not like. It's a pretty big place, probably
Yeah,
30
like-
by 30.
like step out of the rain, but just
Yeah.
kind of wait patiently.
Again, it's like more like a mist, but
Yeah.
feels better to. Once you step past, you hear in your head, "Welcome to the Golden Lead." Just in your own voice. She's just sitting there, hands folded, cross-legged, eyes closed.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Sorry if I interrupted anything.
Oh, of course. Please come closer.
I walk forward.
She starts to hover up, and then she just puts her legs down and stands.
We were advised to come here by the, bookmaker. She said that you might be able to look into something for us.
Such as? I do offer, some spell scrolls of the transmutation variety, and I also, do, wizard tutoring. For beginners and intermediate and masters alike.
Well, we have a book.
Ah, wizard, I see. Greetings.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm the professor.
Please. She hands you a piece of coal.
I go to take it. I take it.
It's heavy. Heavy for coal.
What is this?
You are a wizard. It shouldn't take long for you to find out.
Thank you.
Identifier?
I cast identify, sure.
You're getting strong transmutation.
Okay. I
Roll
think
an Arcana check.
I think I okay. 17.
17. You know that some wizards in the transmutation school have what they call a transmutation stone. It's sort of a spell focus in that it can be imbued with different properties by transmuter wizards. And after you identify it, she goes, And she holds her hand out for it. You go to hand it to her, and it's a piece of gold. You put it in her hand. Thank you. Been trying to do that at a distance for some time. Yes. What can I help you with specifically, please?
Oh
I
boy.
interrupted you. Go ahead.
It's a little bit of a heavy thing. Dangerous.
She slips the chunk of gold now into a small satchel she has on the side. And she walks over to the wall that's connected to the house. And there you see a stand and a floating ember, and above it is a floating kettle. She walks over to it and grabs it and pours into a cup. Hot tea?
Sure, thank you.
She offers it to you. It's very nice. It's like a spiced sort of thing. In fact, roll a history check.
Oh, that's really good.
And you too.
21.
Okay.
Oh, really good. 23.
It reminds both of you separately of home. You don't know this of each other, but to you, it smells like tea Alexander used to make sometimes. It has a little bit of that minty winterlight taste to it. To you, It smells like tea your father used to make. It has a little bit of that, this floral sort of, almost lavender scent to it. It seems like a mixture of both of the teas you used to grow up with, just sort of by happenstance. Sort of sips it. She doesn't look at either of you like it's important to either of you on purpose. It just happens to be. And she's not an Aarakocran.
So,
Seems to be human.
The thing that we have is dangerous, and we've already had someone die to it once.
That was me.
Off the bat.
Yes, okay.
Just to be transparent with you. So I wouldn't advise reading it, but
I can just drink this.
any information that you could, help us get from it.
Well, let me see the item in question.
Go into a pocket, pull out the Ketchum sphere, release the book.
I've not seen a contraption like that before. This book is very obviously powerful. Sets it down sort of next to the tea. Tell me what you know about this item. It looks very old.
Do you want to go personal history first, and I can then go on?
Yeah. So we found it on the necromancer that had taken up residence in Gygax. On his person.
I've heard tales of these. We had some issues with the undead for a little bit.
In this area? How long have you been here, by the way?
A couple years.
Okay. So, yeah, around 5 years ago, he had taken sort of a place in Gygax, and it kind of coalesced into this giant tower there.
5 years ago was now when that happened.
Well, no, 5 years ago was when the explosion happened, which left the crater, which then he built the... Yeah, so 5 years later, he built a tower there.
Okay.
So, he had this on his person, and recently, our friend here just tried to go inside or read it and see what was going on with it, and she died. So, she saw something concerning in there.
I'm interested that you came out to Cedar Hold for this instead of using your Emperor's resources.
Not a lot of resources.
Well, I know that your homeland, I'm sorry to hear it,
Fell out of the sky.
yes, I was trying to find a nice way to say it.
That's okay.
But I know that a lot of your people are back in the capital city, and surely there's a better person than me to look at this. Any of your arcanists around, or?
I'm not too sure.
I guess I
They'll
wouldn't
kind
want
of.
to take it to the elves or the dragons, which would have the best.
We do know Xeno Elixis.
I don't know who that is.
She's an elven arcanist.
Well,
We also could take it to the dragons, but that's also concerning.
Yeah.
I don't
I
really
can
want
tell
to...
you some things about this artifact, but it is definitely dangerous. I can spend some time with it. I'm not going to look at it.
Please don't.
I'm assuming that's how you died.
Yes.
Typically, there are measures to make sure that the person looking at the book is the correct one.
Interestingly, there was an entity, seemingly.
Yes. Both of these magics are technically illegal, but of necromancy is also, so... Well, black necromancy.
Speaking of necromancy,
Yes.
you said that there were some troubles with the undead. Do you mean around this area?
West of here, and east of here.
When was that?
When I heard only tales. I did not encounter any of them myself. East of here is where we heard from the most, though, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. over in a small place named Rust, which is an old, broken down place. You'd been there, actually. That's near where you encountered the painter. And Morengo had a little problem. It seems most of it is east of here.
That's actually pretty helpful. So,
You would know that's towards Winterlight.
yeah.
That's why people have been calling it the Decaying Lands over there.
Has there been any kind of necromantic activity since?
Not that I'm aware, not out of the normal. I mean, every once in a while someone will dabble with things they ought not, but certainly no armies of undead like there were people were talking about.
Okay,
That bodes well.
maybe.
I don't know. We just got the terrible news from the Ivory Drift, but that does not seem to be undead. Though it does remind me much of the fate of Gygax.
It's
It was
similar, but
different.
yeah.
I don't deny anything about it. I was south when that happened, and then I came north. Once the war wanted to start, I was not about to stay in the desert.
Don't blame you. Well, how long do you need to spend with this book?
Couple days, probably. To be safe, it has to be a slow process. If you rush into it, apparently you die.
Yeah.
And we can trust that you would, keep it in a safe place during those 2 days.
Yes, absolutely. The only thing I ask for is, well, this is a business.
How much do you want?
Well, I usually charge 100 gold for wizarding. 2 days of that, probably 500.
500? Seem
I can
pretty
unlock a
reasonable.
certain number of secrets for you, I'm sure. If you want me to open the book and put myself at risk, that would be much, much more.
Okay. 500's reasonable.
500 is reasonable, then here's what I will do. As collateral, you may have this stone. Bring it back. Who wants to hold it?
Take it.
And you know that
Pocket it.
from what you know of transmuters, that's a very meaningful piece to her. It's not something that she can just make a new one of. It's something that sort of goes with you, and I mean, for lack of a better term, it sort of levels up alongside you. It's as much of a companion as anyone else's familiar to a transmuter. So. All right. Well, it was nice to meet you.
Same.
I will do this inside the house then. I have some space here. Would you like anything else from me? I do offer spell scrolls as well.
Did you need anything?
Transmutation specific, but I am able to sell you up to level 5 legally.
Any spells you had in mind?
You can always...
Maybe when we return.
You can think of it.
Okay. Thank you. The tea is really great as well.
I know. It's my own special blend. I used to have the southern spices and more of the, say, hot frothy chai going on, but coming up here to the northern parts where it's much colder, you have different ingredients, and so it's been nice. Cold weather flowers are best for tea. A little bit of a healing property as well. Did everybody drink the tea? Okay, you two specifically have advantage on your next Constitution save.
Hey!
just one. That only lasts for like 48 hours.
Okay. Alright, let's go meet this person, this guide.
Okay. So, he's also outside of town, so you basically just pop out and follow the road around the front and to the right. And you see, well, there are several houses out here, residential, and you see some people. It's kind of a shitty day, but you do see some people. Mostly the farmers live out here. There's lots of fields and some woodcutters. The eastern side that you were just on, there's a large cedar forest here, and you can see that every so often there's one tree that's just cut down and used, and you can actually hear the sounds of chopping wood in the background as the day sort of clears up a little bit. As you follow around, you do see some people making sure that hay bales are being set out. It's fall time and it's getting cold, so it's about time to harvest all the feed corn with their golden stalks. It's about time to what? Oh yeah, totally forgot. Wasn't a
You're
bit.
wearing
You're
that.
wearing a huge corn costume.
Well, I'm inside my own body and looking outside of it, so
It's like around your face.
yeah, but it's not like my eyes aren't fucking out here. I'm not a chameleon. So you have farmers outside, and people on carts again. You do see a lot of carts coming from that side of town, filled with wood on the back, and shipping it both out and into town every once in a while. You head over. It's a quick 4 or 5 minute walk, and you see a small stone building. Pretty much alone. It's just got like a bush next to it and a couple trees, and an old wooden roof, and no signage on it at all. And a little bit of out the back of it, there's a stack, and just a little bit of smoke is coming out of it. What do I do?
I'll let Jurdan take the lead on this one.
He sort of lags at the back a little bit. He does wear the sword, so it is pretty heavy, but he managed to walk up. Okay, so first off, who's going? Is it you, and Egnir?
Egnir, yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much he charges, but it's not expensive. Just like be really deferential towards nature, okay? All right.
Okay, that's pretty normal.
Yeah. No, you're all good. Okay, everyone's fine. All right. You just get a little crotchety at times.
This is the only one I'm worried about being not deferential towards nature.
I think I'll be okay, actually.
Camping trip. Okay. Also, he'll supply all the stuff you need. And if he doesn't, well, what a shitty guy. But, okay. Name's Satantes. Oh yeah. Not human. Let's see, one sec. Okay. Hey, buddy!
You're echoing.
It's Jurdan. You hear like a heavy chain. And the door opens out, and Jurdan sort of steps back. And in front of you, you see a. You just realize the door is humongous, by the way, about 6 by 10. about 10 feet tall. You see in front of you a 9-foot tall, dark-skinned individual with dreadlocks that bill out from the front and come back. 2 braids hanging down out front. Bare-chested, kind of hairy, like when people have like lots of back hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's curly like that and thick. Pretty fucking yoked. This guy makes Jurdan look not like a little bitch, but he's got bulk, whereas Jurdan's got a little bit more of a Ryan Reynolds thing going on.
This is like Hassan Piker.
This
This is like the rock bolt.
this is like the Rock bulk, like where
Oh God.
You know what's super weird? In my head, I was picturing The Rock.
Yeah, me
a
too.
little bit, but his nose isn't a normal nose. It's almost like a fawn, and it comes down here, and it's very flat on the front and goes down straight, like a goat nose. Brown eyes, red tattoo slashes. At first you thought they were scars, but they're definitely tattoos all along his body. And a Clydesdale on the bottom with dark brown hair.
Centaur?
This is a centaur. You see he wears around his waist, you see a heavy iron belt, and then what looks to be like a battle skirt of scale mail. On his back, he's already wearing like a quiver. You see on the side there's a long glaive attached to the side. There's a longbow. Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Satantes, Keepers of 8. This is Professor Elenia, Emperor Evelios, and Agnir, a Golgari warrior. And Elenia, the Valkyrie of Nightstone. Still just a professor. Number 3, though. The third. And they would like to claim your services for a short period of time. Let them in. Please, come in.
Okay.
Okay.
And the 4 of you walk in, and Satante steps aside. Jurdan goes, "Alright, he closes the door and puts the chain around. You can see the chain there's a hook. It comes out and goes like this. He just wraps the chain around like a bow tie. That's the lock on the door. Turns around and you can see the ground is stone. There are hides of various animals placed on the ground in different areas where carpeting seems to be useful. There's one under a large table that doesn't have any chairs. And it's about 6 feet tall. You do see weapon racks to the left where there are various weapons and traps. There's snares and owlbear snares and traps and just lots of stuff. You have hanging herbs above in the very back. There's a stone fireplace / hearth where it sort of comes out in the middle, and there's a kettle over top, and then there's a hood to it where the smoke come up and go out the back. There's something bubbling in there. Again, many dried herbs. On the right side, there seems to be sort of a wash area and like kind of like a sink, but like it's huge. And then in the very back corner, to the left of the hearth, is a deer carcass hanging and dripping blood onto the ground, into a kind of large brass bowl. and in front of the fire on a bearskin carpet, like a huge bearskin. Probably roll a nature check if you're proficient in it. The ranger gets to do it regardless.
Okay.
19.
17.
25 for Egnir.
19.
Okay, all of you realize that this bear must have been 12, 15 feet in length. Like, it's a big motherfucker. On it is a brown and white speckled mastiff dog who is sleeping and warming himself by the fire, seemingly unbothered by your presence. He is, again, he's a mastiff, so he's
It's a big
fucking huge. He's like
boy.
4 Darwins. He's if he were to stand on his hind legs, he'd be taller than both of you. It's a big boy, but he's kind of on his side and he's sort of snoring. He did raise up when you walked in, but back on his side. Got large jowls. You can see a large bowl of food. That seems to be cooked venison. Probably from the deer that's hanging in the corner. Just stares at you and sort of walks over to the table. And on top of the table is actually one of the front legs of that deer. And he goes back to grabbing a knife off the front and carving the meat off of it. It looks like it had been cooked. Starting to carve the meat off of this roasted venison leg.
So, we need to hire your services to take us into the Winterlight Forest and find a house.
I can do this.
Okay. It'll just be the 4 of us.
10 gold per head per day.
Okay.
What you looking for?
There's an abandoned house out there that used to belong to someone that we're trying to find, and we don't know exactly where, but somewhere probably in the east.
Houses disturb nature. Should not be hard. Well, you have to be ready. Today?
As soon as possible.
You look capable. Sort of sets the deer leg down, and you can see takes a chain with several hooks on it, sort of sets it down and starts hooking the meat over the different things, totally in silence. Does this. Good 30 seconds go by. He takes the chain, and there's 2 hooks on in the front of the fire on either side of the hearth, and he hooks one end of the chain on each. Walks back over to the side of the domicile that has all the weapons and stuff, and goes to one of the racks and grabs different bags off of it. Okay. I will provide provisions. Sets different sacks down. I can make camp. I will guide. The rule is 4. Your friends cannot come. Nature is to be preserved. We only kill if we have to, unless the thing is disturbing the natural order. I am in charge. Any questions?
Sounds...
No? Sounds acceptable.
Yeah.
Do personal questions count?
Don't.
Is he literally not even looking me in the eye?
He was, and then he stopped.
Alright.
Don't mind our friend.
We'll be ready in an hour. We will head out east towards Winterlight.
Okay. And I'll put the 40 gold down for the day. Actually, we just paid all up front. I'll give him the 80 gold. I think, because it'll be 2 days? Or no. I don't know how many days it'll be. How long will the trip be?
Depends on how long it takes to find the house, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Don't know where the house is.
Okay.
We can pay at the end.
Okay.
I have no need for gold if we're going to the woods. Alright. Barlow! The dog gets up. We're going on a trip. Eat up. And sort of walks over to the bowl and starts chewing on.
I love that puppy. It's not a puppy, but...
Okay, so you guys got an hour to do whatever you want. He sort of undoes the lock.
I'm gonna take a short rest to get some hit points back, because I'm hurt. Apparently.
You are.
Yeah, I took damage from...
Exploded.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
what it was.
Yeah.
I took reduced damage, but I'm still...
So while they're in there, Jurdan talks to you, Icillius. Well, do we want to take the scenic and just walk, or did you want to grab some horses? I don't know how good. Are you good with a horse? Cassin's like, if I have to.
It doesn't really matter to me. It might be easier for you with that sword to get some horses.
I mean, they're only a gold a day, and I'm assuming we could just spend time at your house and sort of actually hang out. Is there anything you wanted to do at the
Also,
house?
a paladin, he could just be like, bam, horse.
Just looking to see if Julia had any idea what this route of hers was. Anything that she had written down.
Gotcha. Alright, well, hopefully there's no one out
Otherwise,
there.
no.
Sounds good. Well. Alright. And then at that point, the door opens behind. So?
We're good.
Ah, good. He, a little intense sometimes, but it's okay.
I think I respect his outlook, for sure.
Well, good. Is the puppy in there?
Yeah.
Is he big?
Yeah.
He wasn't last time I saw him.
It's cute, though.
I'll see him later. Okay. Well. So, anything you guys want before you head out? There is a. I mean, there's several places. There's a trade house. There are.
Is there a place we could stop? Well, I assume that we don't need to get rations or anything like
There's
that.
a silversmith. No, he'll provide you provisions.
Can they be meat-free provisions?
I can make mushrooms for you.
It seemed like he had dried fruit and stuff.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
well, vegetables, fungus specifically.
Do we have potions in case we run into anything? And
I think we still had some, didn't we?
I got
I'm
two
looking.
Regs
The
and
trade
two
house has
Raiders.
some potions. They're a little more expensive here, though.
Oh, I'm out, actually.
You're not gonna get them at Ivory Drift cost.
I have one regular and one greater.
I'm
Still.
super out of potions. I have these antidotes on me, by the way, still, that Katie gave us in case of poisonous spore things. So, if we run into anything like that in the woods, still have that.
So did you want potions? You can go to the trade house for those.
I think I'm good. Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay.
I've
They
kind
also have
Used my largest healing.
also have warm clothing in places. It is a little chilly out here, but it's up to you guys.
Should we get winter outfits?
Not quite winter, but I mean.
I think I'm pretty well insulated now.
It might be a good idea.
Yeah, it's something about the 40s right now. It's and when it rains, it's earlier it was like kind of deep bones.
But also,
I'll get like a travel cloak or
Yeah.
something that can keep me warm.
Oh, that fall off.
It comes on and off, but it's like
It's not like snapping.
it's
in
not
there.
snapping it as much as it used to. It might just be the different parts I'm using, so. But like it stays on.
Yeah, if you want warm clothing, not too hard.
If I could find an actual like nice traveling cloak with maybe
Well, these are
like
going to be more,
fur-lined or something, but
the Carhartt of outdoor clothing, where it's like function over fashion here. So, what are you specifically looking for? Because you can go to the trade house if you want. Which have you been in that yet?
no, not yet.
Okay. Is that where you wanted to go?
Sure.
Okay. Does everybody want to go? Because
Yeah.
you guys might need. Icillius and Jurdan both know that the Brown Cedar Trade House has all basic tools and kits that you can get as long as they're not magical in nature. Has basic health potions, warm clothing and furs, camping supplies, horse tack, etc. So it's got some basic stuff. You can find like arrows and stuff. Not that you should need them anymore. You could find some basic firearms like a flintlock musket and stuff. If you want something like that. Most of the stuff in there you guys are past, but it's the only place in town that has warm clothing and potions.
Yeah, let's just go check it out.
Okay. So the trade house is it's got a garage sort of next to it that seems to be for overflow, and it almost looks like a house, like just a normal house. And actually, when you kind of note that both Jurdan and Icillius go, "Oh, it is a house. You live up top." The bottom floor is basically just the storefront. And you head inside, and there's a little ding 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 as you walk in, and it basically looks like it has like white wooden floors. They were painted. They're chipping over time. They haven't been repainted in probably 4 or 5 years, and there's a lot of foot traffic. You can actually see where the traffic sort of leads. It almost leads immediately to the right every time. And you can see over there's lots of like normal supplies like tools and hatchets and just your basic stuff that you might need for specific jobs that are around here. A lot of farming equipment stuff. Behind the counter in a locked case, there seems to be several small little pots of healing potion. They're kind of in like instead of the nice little vials that you guys have, like that one, they're sort of more rounded on the bottom and more squat. And they seem like probably the glass is reused. And there's a man behind there. Jurdan knows him as Wyatt Cheney. Icillius, do you have different information than that? It's number 6 on your thing. I believe you do.
6.
Yeah. Yeah, Randall Cheney is actually his father, who you were expecting. But this is his son, Wyatt. Randall had kind of a George Costanza sort of haircut, portly like that, but had mutton chops that were formerly black hair graying. Human man, portly. Wyatt has the same mutton chops, but a full head of hair that isn't graying and is sort of that nice black that he can slick back. Much younger guy with blue eyes. Still a little portly, but not so much. Kind of just like dad bod. Like he's wearing a flannel shirt and normal slacks and some cowboy boots. Looks a lot like you, except the flannel shirt's green. He's not wearing a cowboy hat, and if you shave the middle of your face off. He is short too, about 5'5"-ish. Not a big guy, not very imposing, and looks very friendly. As you walk in, he sort of puts on some glasses. Oh, hi there, folks.
Hi.
Welcome to the trade house. What can I get for you?
We were just kind of looking around, but
Boy, you are a group.
yeah.
Well, welcome.
That's an interesting accent. Are you from around here?
No, sir, I am not.
Whereabouts are
Ma'am?
you from, if I may ask?
Ma'am. Oh, I just never seen Elf. Sorry, I thought you were a halfling fella. That's my fault.
It's
a little
alright.
weird. Okay.
It's new to me, too. It's fine.
You Okay, well.
Maybe
All
looking
right,
for
and
some
we got the,
warm clothing options and maybe some potions.
Sort of looks at Icillius and Jurdan for a second. Mr. Connor?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Ain't you supposed to be dead, sir? I mean, that's kind of rude. Okay, that's 2 in a row. Oh, gosh darn. And he sort of walks around and he looks up at you and he's like, I mean, you got older. Must be you.
Yeah.
Well, shit. And he sort of reaches his hand out and shakes your hand.
How you been?
Great. I wish my dad would have been here to see you. He died a while back, but man,
Sorry to hear that.
nah. He actually survived the old orc attack and then just died peacefully. So no big deal. But
It's the
Man.
best any of us can hope for, I suppose.
frankly, I thought you died horribly. But I guess you're fine. Crazy thing, I actually go fishing out by your old house. You do remember this when he was a kid, he would, because he's in his like 20s now, he's probably like 10 years old last time you saw him. He did fish around that pond or that lake every once in a while. Not necessarily at your house, but you had like a little dock that went out a little bit that was good for fishing. Yeah, no one's seems to have been there. There were some squatters in the colder months every once in a while, but they don't stay long. No one can necessarily get into the house, so that's good. They were staying in the stable area, and nobody here wants to get in your house bad enough, so it felt disrespectful.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well. Anyway, you folks are obviously here for some goods. Can I offer you some apples? We got some fresh apples. You look over and there's just like a barrel of apples. Usually I charge, but I mean,
Yeah, sure.
friends of Mr. Connor.
I'll take one then.
Yeah, they're good ass apples. A little tart, not mealy.
Like Honeycrisp.
No, not quite as good. They're just apples. They're just kind of like a gala, where it's like they're kind of small, they're a little sweet.
Yeah.
Kind of by the time you're done with it, you're like, okay, it was an apple.
Yeah.
Kind of have to look for a not bruised one. Seems like they just dump them on top. Well, got potions. Price is a little higher here than out west or south, but we do have a deposit system if you're interested in that.
Deposit system?
Well, they're 100 gold, but I'll give you back 25 if you bring back the bottles. That's sort of a deposit.
Okay.
It's hard to get these. We don't have any glass blowers around here, and got to go out to Marengo and buy them from the shipyards, or go up to the elves, and they charge too much. So Violet Fields doesn't have any of that. So.
Well, if you guys feel like we need any potions, we have money in the.
Well, you
fund.
guys
I have
certainly. If you're hanging out with Mr. Connor, you're definitely adventuring type. So. I don't know if you guys know, he's a little famous around here.
So we've seen.
And,
Forgot about that.
yeah.
He never told us about that.
He's the old gunslinger. Not often you see many marksmen out here. Tells him shooting the eye out of a cyclops.
Well, now he's fought much more impressive things than the Cyclops.
I'm sure he has.
So.
Been gone for... Shit, I was a tank when that happened.
Yeah, but at least a decade. Probably a little more.
At least. Well, shit. Not a lot of bird folk come around here. It's I gotta be honest. It is. Is it messed up for me to say it's like really cool to see one in person? Like, and I know you're like a person, and I don't want to like. I feel rude all the time.
So
I say it just comes out of my mouth, and
You should
I'm
probably
sorry.
It's okay.
It's just
It's okay.
you are magnificent.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
It's okay. It's fine.
So, about warm clothing that you might have, like.
Ah, yeah. And then suddenly he turns to the left, and Egnir's standing there. You spooked me, sir. I did not. Okay. Yes, I have warm clothing. I guess I should be. All right. Well, I got all sorts of pelts, and we got hats, we got gloves, we got chaps if you're into that. You're looking for something warm, keep you nice
Like
and toasty.
a cloak or something, maybe?
You're looking for fall or winter? I know winter's coming up, so I don't know what you...
We're going
Looking
to the
for.
woods.
The winter stuff is a little more bulky. Basically, you'll lose a little bit of speed in it.
Probably fall.
Fall? Alright, well, looks like you could use a jacket.
A cloak or something that would go over my
Another one.
armor would be fine.
I mean, I have ponchos.
Ponchos?
Yeah. Or I sleeved, like a sleeved, like a duster?
I guess
For like a shotgun coat? Like
maybe not a coat, just a poncho or
a poncho I
or
can
a
do.
cloak or something would be fine.
Absolutely. Well, I got, what are you doing? Just going in the woods?
Yeah?
Alright, I got, we could do some buckskin, or I could do some, well, bearskin's probably a little bit too much. I could do some elk. They're big.
Oh, God.
And then for you, something a little bit smaller if you
That's
want.
okay.
Are you looking for a poncho too?
Yeah.
I can also tailor it a little bit. I mean, tailor by tailor, I mean cut a hole in it for your wings.
That's
if you
probably a
need
good
to.
idea, yeah.
Well, I got some. Does it matter about the style? Are you guys looking for style here? 'Cause
Style is kind of...
important here?
Okay.
Okay, well, might not be the place for you.
Yeah.
I want to go out to, I don't know, Tin Top has the fashion people over there. Or order something special from Marengo or Ivory Drip. I mean, Gygax. Maybe down there. Those folk. But I do have some wool flannel.
That's fine.
Alright. How's Red treat you?
Great.
Perfect.
Do you have anything knitted?
I have...
Since you have wool?
Like knitted sweaters. That's not what you asked for.
Knitted poncho?
That's not a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly they're skins layered with something comfortable underneath, and then usually something to weigh them down in the front and back.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm fine, actually. You know?
Okay. I do have some jackets. I have things with can button up for you a little bit with some fringe on the side. No?
I'll take anything that would be functional and keep me warm.
Okay.
That will fit over this.
Yeah. Has a like a kind of a thicker denim that is has like these brass buttons that just sort of hook around, and comes up on the sides, and it's got like a some sort of fur in it, maybe beaver. Can't really tell, but it's pretty warm. Once you try it on, it's not too long for you. And it does fit around everything, so it feels pretty snug. It's a little warm to wear in the place, but it's good. And then who else needs something warm?
Ignir, are you good?
Yeah, I think I'll be fine.
You're done?
Did you say you're done?
Yes. Right here. I point at Jurdan.
You saying you're done from here in the home and stuff? Yeah. Boy, do you clean up well. God damn. I did not recognize you. He is... Whew. Alright, he was a weird-looking kid. Let's just say that. Dude,
How
fuck
weird.
off.
How weird looking. No, I need to know. Tell me more.
This is not important, okay? We don't... You don't need to...
I absolutely
say
need to
anything.
know. Jurdan.
I will pay you not to talk.
I will pay you more to talk.
This is bullshit.
I can back that up. She has all the money.
Sort of extent. No need to pay anything. First of all, great guy. Hadn't seen you in a while. Used to actually teach out here.
Oh, we know about that.
Yeah. But did not recognize you with that new haircut. You used to have long hair.
Long hair?
Yeah.
How long?
Like middle of the back, dude.
You had long
It
hair?
was a phase.
Was it
Okay,
like
I was
a-
trying it out.
Like a mullet phase?
There was a little party in the
Oh
back.
no.
You picked him.
What did the front look like?
It was a little short.
Oh no.
I pulled it back, okay? I pulled it back. Anyway. Thanks, buddy. And when he was a kid, his ears, his skull, something with the ratio, it did not...
Did he have huge ears?
I think it was just a small skull. I don't... His ears look normal. I don't really know.
Well, at least the skull grew.
Yeah, I'm good. Good. I don't need any warm clothes. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I have a thing in my bag.
Need some extra wrapping for the skull?
You too, huh? Nice. Caston sort of sits back. I'd like something very warm, please. Got a bearskin coat for you if you want. Yes! I'm freezing. pulls out this very thick black fur coat, hands it over.
He's fabulous.
That's a good look for you.
It's warm.
I just need some sunglasses and like glitter. The gayest of gays. Alright. Okay, well, unless we need potions, I think we're good.
Well, so warm clothing 1, 2, 3. 45 for those altogether. And then potions. 75 if you bring the ball back. But 100 up front.
Do we need any? I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, so just the
Fake's
close.
last words.
No potions?
Yeah.
Alright. Also got tools and other things. If you need any of that.
I think we should
Camping
be-
supplies.
We should be good supplies-wise, unless we wanted to, like, bring our own camping... We have bedrolls, but...
Yeah, you don't have like a tent or anything. So Tante said he was going to supply that. But
Yeah, so I don't think we need to bring anything
unless you
else.
wanted to back up.
No, we're good. That's everything.
Alright, beautiful. 45 it is.
Hand it over.
Thank you kindly. Alright.
Thanks
and,
for the stories about...
Hey, anytime.
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 Great to meet you all. Come on back whenever you'd like.
Alright. Well,
Okay.
probably about time for us to go.
That it is. So horses are walking, buddy. Looks at Icillius.
Can't you just do the horse thing?
Let's just get horses.
Can I just do the horse thing?
Yeah, where you know, could make a horse happen.
Haven't we been over this before?
He said it's been a while.
Yeah. I don't like to just, do it.
Why?
Why don't I like to just do it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the same,
Is your horse a dick?
No. I don't have a horse.
It's definitely a donkey.
If it's like a spirit animal, it comes out with a mullet.
Well, it's just kind of like to build a relationship. And last one, it's been a while.
Okay.
All right. Be safe. And he sort of hugs you.
I'll hug him, give him a kiss.
Aston hugs you. Icillius does not hug anybody.
I hug Icillius.
You get hugged, Icillius.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Hey, my chem came back as a band today. Leave him alone.
He's super in the mood right now.
I mean,
with
look
the
at that face paint.
Yeah, edgy.
Jurdan heads over to one of the stables with Icillius and Kasdan, and he'll pay for the horses. They're only a gold a day. And you guys all head towards Satantes. Okay. And you get there, I assume? Anything you want to do in the way?
Nope.
Alright. So you get there. It's Professor Elenia Velios and Egnier. Get to the front of the house, and Satantes is waiting there with Barlow, the Mastiff, and he hands each of you a backpack. They're brown leather backpacks, and they all seem to have the same shit in them. They have some basic gear. They're technically all explorer's pack if you need to do anything with those ever. They all have provisions inside them. They all have more torches if you need them. And then he carries, he's got 2 sets of saddlebags that he carries on his back. And a large roll in the middle that is a tent that looks, from the looks of it, he's carrying one that you will all share. Seems to be a large canvas with sort of interlocking wooden stakes. Seem to give it that structure. And then Barlow, around his neck, has a tiny jug, and it's got medical supplies inside of it in case anybody needs anything.
I love him.
And he also has a buckskin vest that's wrapped around him to keep him warm.
No.
And give him a little bit of protection. And then a little bit more on his back, he's carrying what seems to be some provisions that are specifically for him. A bowl clangs on the side a little bit, but is relatively strapped down, and he's ready to go. And he just starts walking in the direction.
There you go,
I
follow.
follow him.
All right.
One of his backs.
Oh, sometimes Jurdan's child.
He's got 2 rib cages and 2 backs.
It doesn't take long to get into
Some loud ravens.
the edge of the forest, as it's right next to town. You take the road for as long as you can for about an hour. And then you hit a wall of trees. These are still brown cedars. But he says to you, "This is the first day of travel. Keep up, stay sharp. Lots of wildlife here. We do not kill them unless they come after us."
Deal.
Got it?
I can already see that the wood is restless. You can hear several birds, specifically ravens, which is not necessarily the best.
Sign.
You also starting to see, like, the mist every once in a while has like a snowflake in it, and it's starting to get a little bit cold. Tiny liberals, everyone's
I mean, tiny Paul Joseph Watson.
tiny Paul Joseph Watson's definitely.
Imagine my shot. Imagine
My shot.
This is why the terrorists hate us.
This is what the terrorists hate us. It's just someone's ass. Fucking loser. Anyway. And you head into the forest. Is there anything you want to do as you head into the forest?
Just keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look and keep watch while we're walking.
Okay. 2 of you can make perception checks if you'd like.
I will do that. 'Cause I already have advantage.
Looking for possible disturbances of unnaturey type things.
A billion.
Unnaturey type things.
Well, that was a really bad roll. So, 5.
Wow.
27?
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so you're keeping an eye out, and Santantes is going to be the guide and roll survival check. Okay. He's heading in. Clopping away forward. It's a little bit muddy, but it's sort of got those pine needles at its base, as these are a lot of cedars, and cedars are coniferous. So the bed of it is, while your feet sort of sink in every once in a while, it both smells incredibly woody and nice, and with a little bit of that pininess, and also that sort of reinforcement of being able to step on all these needles at the same time. As you head in, you can hear a lot of restlessness in this wood. It gives you a not very happy feeling to be going through here. You're already uncomfortable in that it's cold and it's sort of sleet is happening. You can see even as you kind of just walk through this misty chill, it's collecting on like the tips of the branches that you walk by in a sort of icy mixture. As you do, everyone with warm clothing make me a Constitution save with advantage, and everyone without with disadvantage, unless you have advantage. I guess it just equals out.
So I have
I'll use mine.
advantage from that and the cloak. So do I just use one or the other then?
You don't have to waste
Okay.
your.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
We don't have to use the advantage on our
You
save?
do.
I don't.
It's not. It's only optional because he has the warm cloak. He has to save
Oh.
it basically.
Well, shit. I rolled a nat 20 on my first roll
Yeah,
anyway.
good to go.
so-
Because
Nine.
you rolled your nat 20, you get to keep that advantage.
19.
Okay.
What's that?
21.
21?
17.
17?
19.
Alright, everything's fine. Pretty low DCs, it's just some cold weather, but it's like getting to the bone.
Do you want
After
This is-
climbing a fucking mountain, this feels
Oh yeah,
like
no,
an
it was a
lot.
way low, it was like 10. And it wasn't going to give you exhaustion. This is going to keep you for the next 8 hours of travel. What were you going to say? Velios, were you going to say something?
do you want us like to give you an order?
Not necessarily right now. You're just sort of walking into the woods, but if you'd like a specific order, that's fine. Would you like a specific order?
I'll be towards the back.
So I was gonna be like kind of trailing behind like a little bit, like 5 feet or something, like keeping an eye out in case they miss anything.
So then I'll be in the middle then.
Egir can take point or second behind the centaur.
Okay. Just a little bit. Go. As you're heading in, you're starting to notice. Roll a nature check. Whoever's, if you have proficiency.
Do you want me to roll one anyways? No, I don't. Or no?
Only if you have
Fuck.
proficiency.
10.
11.
25.
Okay, so it's just. Thought Agnir did. No.
What?
Did you not roll?
I
You
did. It
did.
was a 10.
Oh, you were supposed to. Was yours 10?
11.
11. Oh, okay. We'll stop you. Okay. You're noticing as you get deeper in here over time, the trees are starting to. Every once in a while, you'll see like a gap where the cedars aren't necessarily so thick, and you spend another hour working in. And you're starting to see some familiar but thin white trunks and sort of these very short white pines, which you have entered a couple times. Last time you were here, Icillius got his hand chopped off, although this is entirely on the other side of where you experienced that. Continue to head in. Walking around, Satantes hasn't said a word to you. He has talked to Barlow a couple times, giving him commands. But he's mostly been on the lookout. He'll stop every once in a while, and you guys instinctively stop behind him. You know, crouch forward, look at the ground, and then look around and maybe change your heading just a little bit by a few degrees, and continue. Is there anything you want to do during this time? Talk amongst yourselves or anything?
So, Satantes, how long have you been out here? Living here?
Yes.
Were you here when there was necromantic activity in the woods?
Possibly.
Never encountered any yourself?
I've killed undead. I don't know what you mean by necromantic activity.
Undead.
Any undead? This is not nature sometimes makes it itself. There are
Sometime
flowers that do this. There are large trees that do this. There are entities that do this by themselves sometimes. But necromancy itself is a very different thing. So I do not know.
some time ago there was a rise in undead activity
Yes, there was.
caused by a particular individual.
I was south.
Well, the person behind that is the house we're looking for.
Sure. He
Just a,
seems entirely unbothered by this information.
just a heads up on, possible things we might run into.
Okay.
Boy, how's anyone supposed to get a word in edgewise?
He turns back and continues to do the job you paid him to do.
Good to see your snark's not gone.
Barlow sort of walks up to Velia. Just sort of like looks at you while walking.
I'll pet him.
Give him a little pet. Sort of bumps into you a little bit.
Pet him. Like you just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he likes it. He sort of walks away. Fans out a little bit. And runs back over to you. Barlow! Runs forward. He sort of says something that you can't hear to Barlow. And then stops, puts his hand up. And Barlow slinks down. And starts walking forward. So Tantes turns around. Turns and looks forward. You can see he's looking at something.
Do I see it?
Did we stop moving?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna stand quietly.
You can look.
Yeah.
You can
I'll
try.
look. 25.
25. You look out, and Barlow is slinking near the underbrush toward a space you can see. It's kind of next to one of these trees, and there's a bush sort of around this. And you look, and you can see on the ground just out of the edge of the bush, you can see toes. Barlow's sneaking forward. And he sort of spins in place and sits. Stantes looks back. Okay. We've got a body. Looks human.
Okay.
Should we check it out? See what killed it?
Sort of looks around.
So what if it's a trap?
It looks undisturbed here. I do not think he was killed here.
Put here?
think he walked here.
Like he was injured, and then...
Possibly.
Hmm.
We could probably get closer. I don't... Owl,
Yes.
do you see anything?
I'll look.
You have sharp eyes.
25.
You look around. Nothing else is really moving in the area? Alright, be careful. Sort of walks up next to Barlow.
I'll slowly walk forwards.
Okay, come forward. Look around. And you see a human man, not wearing shoes, in slacks, no shirt on, and looks like he's into decomposing. He's a little bloated, so.
Could I make an estimate as to how long he's been...
I was also gonna see if I could find any sort of
medicine
wound or something, yeah.
Okay.
I'll look around that area to see if I can see which way he came from.
Yeah,
I
go
go
ahead and
home
make
this
a survival check. And you want to do anything?
I mean, I was gonna try to determine, cause of death too, but if they've already got it, that's...
Yeah, 20 on my medicine check.
20.
I only got a 10.
Okay. Usually heat speeds it up, so it's been pretty chilly. Could be between 3 and 7 days. You couldn't really get closer than that. Cause of death seems to be the face is really, really bruised, and there seems to be scratches in the torso area. Not like deep like claws though, like just scratches, maybe running through the woods. But the face seems particularly broken. Like you can see it, at least on the left side, on his left cheek, there seems to be like an indent, like maybe something hard hit.
Does it seem like that might be the cause of death? There's no chest wounds or...
I mean, there's scratches, but not like anything super deep. It seems the face has been bludgeoned several times.
I rolled a 20.
On your survival check to see specifically if there's anything in the area like as far as like signs of which way it came from, right? Since it's been a few days, it seems it's not super reliable, because there are obviously, do your survival check, there's animal tracks. It definitely seems like his hands that are to his side, and the top of his head, where there's like a bald spot, and it seems like something's been picking at that. And on his right hand, the pinky's down to the bone. Doesn't seem like things have been like really getting after it, and maybe carrion birds haven't really gotten to him yet because it's kind of thick here. But he's been picked at by wildlife, and you see a couple different directions that could probably go.
There's no like paths or trails or footprints.
No, you're not on a path at all.
I mean like footprints or anything left behind.
No, it's
Not
been a
Or
couple
drag
days.
marks.
Not dragged.
Does he have anything on his person other than just his
Sword,
pants?
slacks. You can check his pockets if you want.
Yeah,
Roll
I'll look
investigation check.
I'll look in the pockets. Fucking 15?
In the pocket, you find an old pocket knife. Nothing else.
No jewelry or anything else on him.
Mm-mm.
This is weird.
Not really. People die in the woods.
But if there's no disturbance here,
It's not like he's eaten or anything either, so it wasn't an animal that was looking for food.
I mean, nature is taking parts of him right now, but I don't know which way it came from.
can I look look around and see if there are any kind of like birds' nests or something nearby.
Okay, roll perception check.
Notoriously bad. No. 8.
You see what might be one in a tree, and then when you look, it's probably just where needles have been naturally resting. But
There's no, like, weird talismans like we saw the first time we were here, right? Anywhere?
nope.
Okay.
That was probably 90 miles away.
Is there any active
On the other side of
wildlife
the
in the area, or has it been
There's
like?
lots of wildlife in the forest. Yeah.
I want to try to find an animal that might be here, or have been here.
You want to try to find an animal?
Are you gonna try and talk to it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, there's nothing right here in the area. There's 5 people here and a dog.
Can Egnir speak with plants? Is that a spell?
Maybe I'll speak with dead.
I did not prepare it.
Bummer.
I used to be able to speak with them, but now I can't.
I can speak with animals.
So can I.
I could try and find you one if you really want.
Well, I think we keep heading in the direction and let the
Nature take its course.
forest reclaim it. It's been dead for a kind of a while.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oui.
Does not look like anyone from town, so probably a hunter. Or just a guy living out here alone, but... Okay. Well, he sort of mutters something. What languages did you guys speak?
Common, Orin, and Elvish.
Common, Celestial, Abyssal, Elvish, and Infernal.
Nope.
Common, Elvish, Giant, Druidic.
Nope.
On top of that, Draconic, Automaton.
Nope. Okay. Sway mutters something in a language you don't understand and sort of nods towards the dead body and starts to clop away. Barlow! And Barlow follows him.
That's unsettling.
A body?
Yeah.
It's the woods.
Is it?
Could have just got lost.
People die all the time.
His face was smashed in.
People die in horrible ways all the time.
I know, but normally when those people die in horrible ways, it means whatever's nearby, or whatever killed them is probably nearby. It might do the same to someone else.
Stay alert.
Yeah, I've been keeping watch this whole time. Haven't seen anything yet.
Okay. So you continue on for a while. Good half hour goes by. 35 minutes. You want to do anything in this time?
I would just be keeping watch the whole time.
Okay, go ahead and roll your other perception check.
230.
Yeah. Very, very perceptive. Anybody else want to make sure they're doing anything specific, or
Just staying alert.
is that perception check?
Yes.
Okay. So the two of you are quite aware of the situation at hand. After about 40 minutes, you come to a creek. And it's sort of just this slow gurgling sound. All right, we can take a moment here and fill up your canteens and make sure you have water for the rest of the trip. We will follow this for a while. So, go ahead. You guys take some time to do that, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The professor's also gonna take some water and put it in her hand and take her hat off. And Gregor's on her head.
Aww.
It's gonna crawl down and get some water.
Oh, you let him out of the terrarium.
Yeah. I'm feeling like a better pet owner this version.
Good.
All right. Don't like spiders very much.
Surprising?
You
Well, where I come from, a little bigger.
Where do you come from?
You know exactly where it comes from. He's a centaur.
Oh, from... Yeah.
From the south. They have big fuck-off desert spiders.
Didn't we actually encounter some of those?
We encountered a couple spiders, yeah. Starts walking down the side of the creek. It's kind of nice here. You do see more animals at this point. Off in the distance, quite a ways, you do see some deer. But as you start approaching and the clopping of the hooves on the stone, they get spooked and run off. You see some birds and you hear more birds. Obviously, a water source is a good sign of, or a good source of contact with animals. So. Did you still want to try to talk to some animals? Because now you're definitely in a space where there are some now. But
I mean, we're far away from that body, so I don't know how much.
35, 40 minutes away from it. Yeah.
if it's a reoccurring thing though, they might know of.
True. I'm gonna try to find a bird, I guess, that
There's lots
looks
of
like
birds.
it
It's getting close to them that is
Yeah.
the trick.
can... Hey, Velios, do you have some rations I can steal from you?
Yeah, that's fun.
Some bird seeds? I'm gonna take some of that and...
Some
Kinda.
seeds.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you just holding them in your hand?
Hold
or
them
what
out
are
of
you
my
trying to
hand
do?
and then
Toss
try
them
to...
at 'em?
Yeah, well, not toss it at them, but like on the ground.
Okay, so you're gonna like sprinkle some bird seed on the ground
Yeah.
near a bird.
Around where some birds are and
Okay.
hope they can hop.
Okay. Roll a perception check. That's step one.
Oh boy.
Pretty good.
12?
12. Okay. You see a couple finches in the bough of a tree. They're kind of like squeaking at each other a little bit. Could be a mating call. Could just be bird hanging out time. You don't know.
Okay.
And you sort of slowly walk over and drop some bird seed down. Go ahead and make an animal handling check.
When you try to be a Disney princess, but you probably just trip and fall on your face. Hey!
That was almost a trip and fall on the face.
19.
19. Take some of these seeds out. There's a variety of sunflower seeds. Most of them are shelled, but there are some that are popped open. You pick out some of the bigger seeds because they look like kind of small birds. You sort of just like sprinkle them on the ground. You sort of wipe your hand up and you sort of back up. And after a little bit, they kind of lands on the ground, sort of
Alright, and I cast the Speak with Animals spell.
picks at it a little bit while you cast that.
And then I go, hello.
Hi.
Have you guys seen the body down in the woods there?
No.
Have you seen anything big or scary, like
Yup.
people?
Yeah. You.
Other than us, before us?
The other one sort of comes down. See bad? Oh. Good? No. Dead? No. Want seed? Yes. And they both start going.
So no other dead things out here?
Oh,
Dead-
Hot's dead.
Dead people?
Bird's gonna make a history check. What's the intelligence of a finch?
I don't.
Probably 0.
Probably like a 1,
Like 20.
which is -5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bird memory's not great. But the first one you talked to, seems to have a better bird memory than others. That lasts longer than just the moment in front of them. Dead live people.
Dead live people?
Yeah.
Walking? Where?
Flies back up to the.
Undead?
So guys, I think that the bird just told us that there are zombies out here.
Oh. Well. I mean, what else were we expecting?
Last time
Bird
we
memories are not that long, so
you
that
trying to
had
say?
to be recent. I mean, not you.
Don't say bird.
You're not the only bird. Just because you're king bird doesn't mean you're the definite article bird.
Could you talk to those birds?
Yes, actually.
Could you?
Yes.
Do it.
And I start making bird noises.
Sort of back and forth to you. What do you want to ask?
Just want to have a meaningless conversation.
Like, how's the weather?
Yep.
Wait, can you actually talk to birds?
Yeah.
How have you never told us this before?
I speak bird. I'm a fucking bird.
He's always spoken bird.
I didn't think I had to tell you that a bird
Wait,
spoke bird.
you let me go over there and cast a spell to talk to the birds, but you could have just spoken to them?
Yeah. It's more fun.
You can actually have deeper conversations with these birds, for the record.
I didn't know the extent of my bird language, so...
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
That's what they speak.
You just stand around and let us do all the work, huh?
Did you want to ask it any specific questions now that it kind of trusts you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask it if it could try to remember, like, in which direction.
Ah, yes. Well, I saw a man.
Please fuck off.
At first I thought he was a traveler,
God damn it. That's not a thing.
but
That's
he...
bullshit. I can talk to them like normal.
But he... Yeah, but there's... Okay, so if you can understand Spanish, right? Are you gonna know the idioms?
I would argue
Okay,
it's
but
the
it wouldn't
difference between
suddenly go.
it's the difference between I would
I'm
say
a hoity-toity
it's
bird.
Google Translate versus someone who is fluent.
Boom. Yeah,
That
so you can get the
fucking
same
makes the
information
spell.
without the specificity of the different nuances of bird
Okay, well
language.
next time you use comprehend languages, it should be the same.
It depends on the thing. You've definitely gotten, like...
Iffy.
Yeah, like the Myconids, for instance.
Sure.
Who speak more on a emotional level. They like to convey more of a deep thought. Anyway, but he smelled like rot. I've only seen the one, and I flew away from it.
Do you remember where it was?
Follow the creek. And then the other one pipes up. I've heard about a couple of them around, but
I hate this.
I don't know. Some people have been talking about, like, this. The other one rolled a natural 20 on his thing, so I assume he's smart. This one's not too
Smart.
bad.
He's a very
fucking
learned
Smart for a
bird.
It's like the
that's
bird
like the smartest
Einstein.
fucking finch in the world. And this one sort of meanders around the conversation a little bit, but you get the gist that there's probably smatter, but they seem to be like aimless. The gist of it you're getting is like it's not like there's a horde of
They just
these.
kind of
It seems like
roam.
they're bumbling around the forest every once in a while. But there's not a lot. They can't seem to find their way out of the forest. They seem to be distracted by movement, and so...
Can you ask them if they know anything about that body over there?
Yeah. Do you know anything about the body that was...
No idea.
that way? No, they don't know.
Okay.
But I can tell you, if we follow the creek, we can find some...
More
probably
zombies?
some people, yeah.
Oh, good.
There's not a lot, though. Only a couple. They just kind of walk around, so... Anything else?
I was confused when she said dead body.
That makes sense. Because the other ones are dead and walking around.
Yes, it's a nuanced view.
Yeah. What about dead and not walking around?
I hate that.
No, we have not seen a actual dead body.
Okay. Well,
Okay, from now on, you're talking to birds forever.
I throw some more seed on the ground. Thank you. Alright, so we should follow the creek.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
You too.
Bye!
I'm actually getting choked by my necklace when I laugh. Okay.
So Tantes has just continued walking.
Just catch back up.
Yeah.
He's not super far ahead. He told you to follow the creek. He wasn't that worried about you.
I assume we want to let him know about the zombies.
Yeah.
Okay.
The birds confirmed zombies ahead.
You sort of catch up to him. It takes a couple minutes. Okay. Well, as long as there are not a lot of those, we should be fine.
I'm gonna be in my boat.
Is that a thing that we're fine killing first before it comes at us?
They are in direct opposition to nature.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you were fine with that, because I'm definitely fine with that.
Of course. But for instance, if you say wolf, it would have to attack you before.
Understandable.
Well, let's keep going. Starts following the
Good thing I brought
creek.
Detect Good and Evil.
Walking through. Anything you guys want to do when you're walking?
Check
I
out
would like to subtly try and scan Zatantes to determine, are the organs situated in the human chest or the horse chest? This is the question I wanted to ask him earlier. He was not forthcoming,
Okay.
therefore it is research time.
It'll take sleight of hand
Okay.
and then a medicine check.
Holy shit. That's so invasive. What the fuck?
He could have just answered the question.
You sort of walk up and under your arm.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a 10 for the sleight of hand.
That you want to keep? Are you done with? Do you have any luck?
I used it when I was in the
Did you use
in
your
the
rabbit's
book.
face too?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
boy. Okay.
And then what? Just an investigation or medicine? What was it?
Yeah, medicine.
26 on that. I might get caught, but I'll know.
Worth it. You gotta take risks.
Are there like I'm specifically looking like are there duplicate organs or is it like one or the other? Or are
Yeah,
they
sure.
just more spread out?
Sure. So, you hear a. That's very obviously not naturey at all. Yeah. And, instinctively, without thinking, Satantes kicks. Let's see what happens. Your armor is definitely not on. Ooh, but he might miss anyway. 11.
Oh, that totally misses.
11, you're able to duck it. You're very short. So and then a glaive towards you, and then pulls back.
What are you doing?
I'm figuring
What is
something out.
that?
It's a wand.
Does not look like a wand.
Oh, see, I can do magic stuff with it. And I do just like a prestidigitation, like a small flame.
Don't do that again to me.
Oh, I won't have to. And then I should look at the results.
The results are
Be scanned.
most of the horse part does not have vital organs in it. It has it does have a secondary semi-heart. It seems like it just has another thing that sort of pumps to make sure that the blood gets through that.
Oh, okay.
And then he has a much larger stomach that sort of extends. It starts lower, almost where if it was a human, in the groin area, and then works its way back. Probably because it's such a large creature, probably has to eat a lot.
That makes sense.
You actually do notice him snacking like the whole time, on and off. And you found where the cockles are. The age-old question: is it where the human bits would be, or is it where the horse bits would be? The answer is horse bits, as the digestive system goes all the way to the back.
Fantastic. Curiosity sated.
You should probably ask people before you...
I tried to earlier in his house.
You didn't ask anything.
Yeah, he didn't respond when I wanted to ask a question.
That's not consent.
He's a horse. I think that's only half a problem, right?
Whoa! He's a person!
That part. I pointed the
What?
top down.
That matters!
What matters is I got the answers I was looking for. Horse dick, in case you were curious.
You haven't changed at all.
I have.
Nobody was curious.
You're just... It's like the same you, but in a more cute, adorable little package.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Alright, so you continue on for a while. Satante's making sure to not let anyone close the gap, so to speak. Always keeping at least 10 feet away from everybody. Hang forward. Barlow a couple times stops and drinks from the little creek, lagging to the back of the pack, and then we'll catch up every
I want to
once in a
give him
while.
pets.
Easy enough. He enjoys them every single time.
I assume he's like Dong when he just goes between people every now
He
and
does.
then.
He bounces around between people, but always ends up going back to the front. It's starting to get nighttime, and the light is getting low. And he sort of stops and asks you, "Could you fly and find a clearing for us?
Yeah.
Things around here seem pretty tight, so preferably not next to the creek, but not too far away that we can't use it if we need it."
Yes, I'll go and do that.
Thank you. So you fly up. Go and roll a perception check.
27.
27. There are natural clearings near the creek. This is usually because foot traffic keeps seeds and stuff from really taking root there. Other animals eat them and stuff when they start sprouting and stuff. You do see a good 300 feet away from the creek bed. There is a small area where there seems to be a large stone that has come up out of the ground and has some moss on it, and this has created a sort of clearing space with a good 25 feet around before there starts to get low brush and then into the woods again. You can also see, since your perception check is so high, if you keep following the direction, instead of seeing these small pieces of white every once in a while, tomorrow morning you're probably going to get into like where it's almost exclusively these trees. It's starting to get to wherever the epicenter of that growth is and start to become the dominant tree species, I guess. Other than that, you don't really see anything on the horizon. You do see the big, thick black cloud that had been moving east. You see the end of it to the west. So tomorrow should be maybe not rainy, and the cloud from Ivory Drift is dissipating, it seems. So it doesn't have that ominous feel over top of it. And you fly back down and tell everybody else, unless you want to do anything else.
Nope.
Okay. Fly back down, and you start to head over that way. Not very hard. Again, there's just it's kind of like a stone that comes out like this, and it almost has like a triangular face to it. And then on the back of it, there's it slopes down more gradually, and it's covered in moss, and there's some growth, and there's a tiny tree on the top. Probably goes up about 15 feet. And Satante says, "This is a good place for a camp. I can set up the tent. It should carry us, plenty of us, nice and warm. But we need some security, preferably some food to start being cooked, and anything else you guys see fit. What do you want to do? Anything to contribute towards setting up camp for the evening?
I'll
Can
help put the tent
security-
in.
He doesn't need help with that.
Oh.
He doesn't even want you to help with that.
I can keep watch.
It's
or-
kind of, it seems, as you start seeing it, he sort of lays it out particularly. It's kind of his,
thing.
it's like a ritual almost. where
Okay.
he's sort of setting it up.
I'm gonna start looking for edible things, berries or edible plants or anything like that in the area.
Okay, go ahead and roll a nature check and then an investigation check.
Fuck.
Nature check fail.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. 11.
Nothing edible that you can detect. What do you want to do?
I'd probably just like keep watch and stuff.
Okay, go ahead and probably up on top of the rock.
Yeah.
So you flap up to the top of the rock and keep a watch out. What was that? 2 20s or 2 1s? The 2 1s?
Yeah.
Wow!
Since when's that happened? What's that?
11.
11 perception check. Okay, yeah.
That's
You're
So Icillius died.
true.
you're up there, sort of perched on top, and
That's a picture.
you're looking out, and you notice at the at your feet, on top of the rock, there's an extremely what's the word? Suspenseful moment that's attracting your attention as one of the tiny branches on the bottom of the tree has fallen off, and it's on the ground, and part of it's hanging over the part of the rock that heads down towards camp, which is more sheer, and a snail is traversing towards the edge. And you can see, like, there's nothing holding on the back, and you're wondering, is he heavy? Like, too heavy? Like, if he gets out to the end, is he going to tip off, and is he going to, like, fall and die? Or, like, what's going to happen? So you just sort of, like, you're trying to pay attention, but it's, like, captivating.
If it looks scary, I'm gonna go save the snail.
Okay. It's, I mean,
Oh
it's,
my
it's a snail, so it's
God.
going really slow.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah. Anything Agnew or Professor wanted to do?
I'm gonna ask Satantes if it would be beneficial to do a tiny hut around sort of the camp area.
It won't fit.
Won't fit? Okay.
Tiny hut's too small.
Got it.
If you have any other spells like wards or alarms or anything, that'd be fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Druid Grove.
What's that?
It's a 6th level from Xanathar's. Basically, I can affect a 90-foot cube and fill it with multiple spell effects.
Ooh, I'm reading
So I
it
can
right now.
fill... It's a lot if you just want to look it up and read
Solid Fog, Grasping Undergrowth, Grove Guardians.
Yeah.
Additional spell effects, a constant gust of wind in 2 locations, spike growth, wind wall. You can animate up to 4 trees in the area, causing them to uproot themselves from the ground. These trees have the same statistics as awakened trees.
Oh yeah, I've done that. That's the same spell I used as
Takes
my
10
druid
minutes.
to assault the undead keep. We woke up the trees.
You woke up trees for the undead keep.
Whenever we went to go assault the undead tower, whenever I was playing my
The
druid,
Eladrin.
I used that
Oh,
spell
fuck yeah, you did. You
to
sent it
animate
down
the
into
trees and
shit. I
the
forgot.
land around us to fight the zombies. Yeah.
Just fill any number of 5-foot squares on the ground that aren't filled with fog with grasping weeds and vines for the entangle spell. Fill any number of 5-foot squares on the ground with thick fog, making them heavily obscured. Is that what you're doing? Are you basically making the area foggy, like around the space?
So, yeah, like the central area where we're making camp, I'm going to use the grasping undergrowth. Because that will also act as
Ooh,
like a soft bedding.
They feel soft and reshape themselves to serve as temporary seats or beds.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start doing this, and you have some. The first step is you have some vines that basically weave themselves into like a nice carpet, and you see a couple raised beds suddenly that are incredibly soft on the inside. As you've failed looking for berries, you kind of turn around and look at this, and you sort of like you could see Egnir like weaving in the air different designs, and you see a couple seats go up. So Tantes immediately is like he's taken aback, and then he looks at it, and for the first time he starts to smile, and he nods his head. I like this druid.
I don't know what kind of seats you use.
I don't need any. Just a space on the ground that's soft is fine. Barlow would like a bed, probably, though. You can give him a little circular little bed area. It's about 25 by 25 inside the space. I think I mentioned that. And he has put up posts in the corner that drove into the ground that he knocked in with a very large mallet that he has himself. Gunk, gunk. And is strapped down this large canvas with ropes and stakes. It basically looks like a traveling army barrack. It's warm inside as he starts to put together a fire pit in the middle. And what else did you want to do with that?
So, like the area of the camp and then 20-foot buffer around it, I'm going to make the vines, and then the rest of the 90-foot cube is just going to be the dense fog.
Okay.
Plus the Grove Guardians.
All right, and then you hear some trees, and Velios, while you're watching this, you're like, "Fuck!" Suddenly, and you pull your bow, and then you just see Egnir, 4 large cedars on the 4 corners of the camp, basically. Their roots uproot out of the ground. They sort of sprout legs as they sort of splits down the center, and their branches move. You saw this one time, and it was the druid that did that before the assault on the tower in Gygax. So you calm down a little bit. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you look back at the snail. It's starting to get out to the end, and it's teetering, but you don't. It might hold. Like you've been wanting to like just hold the end of it for him, but also like
I'm curious.
right.
If it looks too dire, I'm going to save the snail.
Okay.
Stupid.
And you want to do what?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay. You do so. And you
Branch
now have
snail.
the weirdest goddamn camp in the middle of these woods.
But the coziest and
It
naturiest.
is very cozy. On the inside, it is very warm and cozy. Not like hot, but like, good 78-ish at times. And you can open the flaps to let the air out as you're starting. The fire is basically at its highest point, and there's a little hole at the top. And he's starting to cook some food. Basically just making a stew of sorts, but he does have vegetarian stuff if you want. Mostly it's just dried nuts and berries.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the.
Okay. As he realizes that at least 2 of you are vegetarian, he starts making less. He starts putting less into the pot.
Yeah, not if it's weird or anything, but if you could make like vegetable stews or something where it's not meat. You know,
I only have meat.
But okay.
Would you like some mushrooms?
Sure.
I'll cast good berry.
I can do that as well if you'd prefer. But I have good berry and get a couple mushrooms. Eat one, feels like you're full. Fully nutritious. Barlow sort of sits down in his little bed area that was made for him after he's done chomping down some pieces of meat. Just dried meat. More in a second. Hold on. Tante sort of looks at you. Okay, now that we're done for camp, now you can ask me questions.
Oh.
Very curious bunch. You paid me to do a job and interrupted it several times. It seems very strange.
Didn't know you couldn't do it without talking. Or
Why would you want me to do half my job?
no, you just seemed confident enough to do both, I guess.
I really like this centaur.
You do. Honestly, have a lot in common.
You all are very inefficient.
Thanks.
A lot of extra things. It would be wise to respect the forest.
Have we disrespected it?
No, I think you've been neutral. It can take you whenever it wants. You're only powerful until you're dead.
How do you respect it?
Understand that it has the power here. You can learn a lot from nature. Your friend here knows. Nature takes and gives when it feels like. Sometimes you find a nice place like this. Sometimes you do not. Sometimes it will reclaim things that have been taken from it. Sometimes it will give you more than you expected. That man back there earlier, he experienced the wrong side of these. It's a good lesson to learn. scooping bowls of this stew. It's basically meat broth with little chunks of meat and some spices that he had taken from a pouch that we dried and put in. Here you go, spiced beef broth.
Thank you.
Pretty warm.
Blow on it.
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh, it's spicy.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good for you. It warms your insides on cold fall days. Also, good for your prevent cold.
If you say so. Take a small bite.
It
Sip,
is. It's
whatever.
it's got a spice to it. It coats your tongue. It's probably beef or venison, somewhere in there. Definitely a red meat. The broth is thick, very peppery. You get a little bit of a herby vibe from it, almost like grass, but it's good. Hands one to Egnir. I don't know if he wants it. He just hands one to you. And he takes a bowl for himself. He puts a bowl to Barlow. Well. Camp tradition. I've got to know. Group like you, you've seen some things.
Oh, boy,
Stories?
Stories.
Grabs a bowl and just starts eating it.
What kind of stories?
A few bites in, your eyes start to sort of water a little bit, and your nose gets hot, and you... Woo!
Do you have any specific questions, or?
No!
Oh god, I don't even know where to start.
Don't you have friends?
This is them. This is it. And some others.
You don't tell people of your stories from time to time.
There was one time we tricked a dragon
Oh god.
into thinking she was dead and pregnant with my child.
True.
How's that work?
Yeah, this story would have made more sense earlier today.
Now it is a little even stranger.
Earlier today, I also had hooves and different genitalia.
And before that, you looked more like just a person, like a human.
But purple.
No, before
Oh,
that.
before
Before
that
the
one,
hooves and
yeah.
purple, I was a human.
You're a changeling.
Not quite.
I know one of those.
Nah, it's not at will.
When I die, when I am mortally wounded,
Ah,
instead of dying, I go through a metamorphosis of sorts. It's kind of a crapshoot.
Kind of like a reincarnation.
reincarnation. My people have something called Shantae. We also reincarnate, or so we believe.
This is more direct. You can see it happen.
Ours is after death.
But anyway, when looking like a normal human person, tricked a dragon into thinking that I was dead and pregnant in order to
Why
help.
pregnant?
It made the story, it gave it some verisimilitude, and
I
it
don't
made
know
it
that
sadder.
word.
Verisimilitude, it basically means it made it more believable, it gave detail, texture to the story.
Oh,
That's actually, fun story, how she met her current boyfriend.
True.
That was the first day I met Jurdan. Holy
Yes.
shit, oh no.
I'm telling that story at you guys' wedding.
100%.
Hunter!
Yeah?
You've been on a good hunt? Dips in for another bowl.
I did kill a Hydra.
A Hydra!
Mm-hmm. Me and one other person.
I've been there.
And they're little frog-like creatures that I don't remember what they were called.
Don't know anything about those. We have some desert hydras. They're a little different. They hang out near oases. Don't know anything about frogs.
Yeah, they're the worst part of it.
Huh.
It was fun though.
I've heard tales of frog people out west, east.
It was in a swamp.
Oh, we've run
somewhere.
into them. Actually,
The
I
ones that
think
were,
they eat people.
No, they were eating elves specifically.
Watch out now.
Oh shit! We can't go back to that restaurant now.
I mean, it's out in, Agnir's swamp, and he never got eaten.
I suppose. I feel like they probably know that people like Egnir are formidable and will murder them.
I feel like you're in that category too.
If anything
Debatable.
tries to eat you, just kill it first.
That's true.
Good advice.
We did kill a Medusa in the desert. We saved some salamanders.
The Medusa in the desert.
There's only one.
Only one in the desert that I know of.
Well, there's 0 now.
There's 0
Mel
now.
Bemini.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's done.
Good. Sips more.
We tried to make a deal with her, but she didn't want to.
Sets thing down. Does anyone drink?
I don't know.
A little bit?
Not very
Don't
much.
get drunk. I have a.
No problem.
Pulls out a very large, like, tusk. Must have been underneath where the canvas was. It's hollowed out and it has like a topper to it, and it's tied on the sides. We have apple mead.
I'll take
Hands it
a,
over when you. It's like this big.
I'll take a little sip.
Comes down to here. Pulls the cork off for you, and immediately you smell cinnamon, apples, honey, and alcohol.
Take like a tiny sip.
Take a sip, and it's all of those things, and it's really fucking tasty. And then your stomach goes, "Huh!" and starts to burn really bad.
Okay, here we go.
But
Wanna
it's
try
good.
it?
Take a sip.
Same experience. It actually tastes really good with that stew.
Right now. Pass it to whoever
Yeah.
wants it next.
No thanks.
Okay, bad luck.
Okay, I'll take a sip.
Take a sip. It's really good, but it does burn.
Rolling 2 nat ones, I need the luck.
Agnew, do you drink from it as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Takes a little bit out of the empty bowl for Barlow and puts a little bit in there. Puts a cork back on it and ties it up. Sits it back over near his things. Okay. Normally I'd say someone take watch. I feel like the trees will be fine.
I
Probably.
expect we will hear if anything agitates them.
Okay. Well then,
I'm gonna snuggle up in my little vine bed and
it's very comfy. It's like a pillow top. You have some, it does have some comfy skins that you can use for warmth. Anything you want to do in the last couple hours before night?
no.
Snail check.
Do you want to check in on the others?
Snail check. Snail got out to the end of the thing and did not tip.
Okay.
But took a little rock and put it on the end of the stick just in case.
I'm gonna ritual cast Sending to Kasdan.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say, "Greetings, Mr. Fugit. How goes it?"
Oh, it's going well. We've been here for a little bit.
They're doing fine. Not dead yet. That's good. And then I'll do another sending and just say, we're doing well also. Camping out. Have tree monsters watching over us.
Okay.
Didn't you tell them about the zombies?
Have a sleep well. Be safe.
I did not mention the zombies. Should I mention the zombies?
Possibly.
I do another sending. P.S. There are probably zombies. Some birds told us.
Oh boy. That's good. Well, you've got a Lenya there. She'll throw light at him, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Sit. You all bed down for the night, or did you do anything?
Yeah.
All right. So you start to sleep, drift off into slumber. Back over with Jurdan, Cedar, and Icillius. You had clopped your way on horseback all the way over to your old house. The old stable where you used to keep your horses is unoccupied. You do see some evidence of people that have probably taken shelter here, probably just on trips when they went fishing and stuff. It doesn't seem like anyone's been mistreating the space. It's covered in fallen leaves. The grass is extremely high. And basically, the house seems to be relatively untouched.
Oh.
Is he back?
Yeah.
The house seems to be untouched in some time. The front door of the sturdy log cabin building looks exactly like it used to look. You don't know where you don't have a key, but you do know that Julia hid one out here somewhere. You're trying to remember. It's been over a decade. Roll a history check with advantage. 17. There's a large maple tree out in front of the property that comes up and splits into two on the top. Large canopy. You go over to the tree and you remember making a false plug for it. And there's a little place in the bark where, since you remember it, you don't have to look. The bark is not quite lined up. You sort of stick your fingers and grab and twist a little bit. And a cored out piece of wood with a little divot in it with an iron key about 4 inches long is there. Put the cord back. And Jurdan and Cedar take time to put the horses in the stable, and they sort of start sweeping up the area a little bit. Obviously giving you a little bit of space so that you can have a little time in the house by yourself. So what do you do?
Unlock the door and head inside.
Okay, so you have to walk through some tall grass, about knee-high at this point. And on the front there's this large iron padlock Stick the key in, turn it. It's got a little bit of grit to it, as it's just been sitting here over multiple winters. It's probably rusted on the inside as well, because the outside is definitely oxidized, but it still seems to be in operation as you and you unlock it and sort of pull as it sort of grinds against the inset. And you're able to pull it off. Swing the latch, click the door, and it goes, and you push the door in. And you step into the house. Immediately it smells of like dust and mildew. You can see there's been, where the kitchen table was in the center of the room, the roof has sprung a leak, and it's been leaking straight down onto the table for who knows how long. And between the wooden slatted flooring, there's a sapling growing up behind that space. You can see where at some point it has bent and bowed and spread out some of the flooring. It's good baseball size around. You see to your right an old leather coat on a hanger. It's yours. It's stiff and doesn't seem like it's been moved at all. You also see an old hat. Kind of like the one Alex is wearing now, but smaller on the ridges and not as tall. And made of woven material. Your bedroom is to the right. You have a living area to the left with old couches that were filled and covered in leather. The fireplace is over there. There's still old wood there. It must be incredibly dry at this point. The rug beneath the table is deteriorated. It used to be green. It's now a brown color, covered in both the dust of just settling and probably the mildew from the constant drip from the ceiling. In the back, there's another door kind of behind the table and sort of that kitchen area where there is a prep area and stuff. There's a door that's your larder where you would keep a lot of your dried goods. You had emptied out a lot of the stuff before you left because you knew you were going to be gone for about a year. But it's been 14 additional years and change. And that's about it in this initial room. Is there anywhere you wanted to go? Anything
I'll
specific?
just head to the living chamber for now.
Okay, so to the left, it's not like its own room. It's still connected, but you head over to the left side, and there's a small coffee table in the center with an old vase that had been emptied before, filled with a good quarter-inch of dust. Everything's covered in dust at this point. You have an old blanket that's draped over the left side leather couch that's pushed up against the wall. It's very stiff. It's that woven material, very thick, but you can kind of grab that and shake it out a little bit. You could start a fire if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot if we have supplies.
Yeah, you have matches on the mantle above the fireplace. They're definitely old, but there's no reason they shouldn't work. And then you have a lot of dry wood off to the right side stacked against the wall. Sort of do that. And put some in the fireplace and strike a match, and they ignite pretty quickly, starting to warm this cool area. Feels nice as you sort of hear the crackle of the fire, and the smell of that instead of dust is pretty nice. It starts to light the inside. You do have oil lamps on the wall, one next to the door, two in the kitchen, one over top of the bedroom as well, that you could try to light with some matches if you'd like.
Yeah, might as well try and light those now before it gets darker.
Okay, easy enough. You do so. At first, it's hard to get the wicks to catch, but you sort of turn the dial on the side and dip them down in and lift them back up. The oil's old, but it's been they've been pretty much protected this whole time, so it's not too bad. Adds a nice little flicker of light to the whole area. You can see that there's some dishes next to the sink basin and the bucket underneath that you'd used to fill it from the lake. And you have a short little flashback, and you remember Julia doing those dishes before you guys left. She's sort of taking a towel and wiping them, and it wasn't like a special moment or anything. It was just like a weird thing you remember. One of the last events in your house was her doing dishes, and you kind of coming in, setting your coat on the rack, and looking at her, grabbing some stuff out of the larder to pack up, and you headed back out. So there's 2 plates and some silverware just sort of on a rack to the left side. You do have a window behind the sink, but the curtains are drawn, and then there's the bedroom to the right side.
I'm just gonna take off the armor, the breastplate, and everything, and drop that on the coffee table there.
Yep.
As well as the gun, and just settle onto the couch for a bit.
Yeah, easy enough to do. After a little bit of settling there and listening to nothing but the crackling of the fire, Jurdan and Cedar head on in, holding some of each of their saddlebags, and they walk in and look over towards you. Hey, buddy. Anything good?
Yeah, just unwinding.
Great. It's a nice place. It's actually nicer than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be busted. But it's actually pretty nice. And besides the leak in the roof, it actually is not too far off from what you had.
Yeah, it's held up. You guys can make yourselves at home if you want.
Yeah, thanks. You know, tomorrow I can help you fix that roof there.
That'd be great. I was actually trying to figure out if I had enough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we got, you know, I'm sure you have some shingles around here somewhere. I thought I saw some in the stable area. Maybe, like, might have some. I definitely have tools, so.
Yeah, perfect.
Kasdan sort of undoes his leathers, sets the stuff down on the table in the middle. Whew. Alright, I'm starving. I can cook if, you want to show me where everything's at. You know that there are some pots and stuff in the larder area. And maybe there's something in there that you could use, but probably not. 15 years old. Other than that, it'd be rations, or you could try to catch some fish or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show him where everything's at.
Okay, you pop open the larder and you smell herbs immediately. Old, dry, dusty herbs, but herbs nonetheless. Oregano and rosemary. A little bit of thyme. Some way aged charcuterie that probably should not be eaten. You see a few canned things. You had canned some pickles and some little onions that Julia called cowboy candy. They're little onions, and they're pickled. They're a little spicy, and they have a sugar syrup in there. So it's a sweet pickled onion that you remember liking. And there are also some canned just tomatoes and stuff in there as well. It's pretty bare otherwise. Worst case scenario, you could make a tomato-based stew of some sort, maybe. If you wanted to pop some of your dried meat in there. Maybe some of those old-ass herbs would work. You don't know how long those last. But you definitely do not think you should eat the sausage. You do have pots in there, and your fishing poles. You have 2 fishing poles in here as well. If you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this you can really work with, Caston, but we could try to catch some fish if we have to.
Well, I'm gonna try those pickles.
Do they have a garden?
A 15-year-old garden, they did.
I know, but
Yeah.
I wonder how much it...
The garden's behind the house on the other side if you want to go look at it.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, you look out there, and as expected, it is a wild mess. But on the bright side, you guys planted strawberries on the negative, and they seem to be going well. On the negative side, it's fall. And so they're not really there anymore. You do have an apple tree nearby that you could see if there's any apples. It's a little late, but if you wanted any apples. And then usually you'd have corn and stuff for the horses growing at this time of year. And you'd basically subsist on meats that you hunted, fish. You do like ice fishing, and you used to do that out on the lake when it was winter time, and canned stuff. But obviously you didn't come back to stock up, so. Caston pulls out the tomatoes, looks at them, pulls out what is left of the dry stuff, kind of puts them on the prep area near the kitchen area where the dishes were done, and grabs the pickles and the which cowboy candy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Sort of shakes them, and this sort of onion silt floats around. You've never had 15-year-old cowboy candy. You feel like maybe the pickling process has gotten to each layer of the onion quite well. They're because they usually have like a little snap to them. Usually don't. You keep them for like 6 months and eat them, and then they're gone.
Soggy boys.
These have been pickling for some time. You used to have chickens, and you
Downright
used to pickle the
alcoholic.
eggs as well, but you don't have any of
Probably
those.
fermented.
Yeah.
But you could try that if you want. There's also the pickles that have been there for some time. Jurdan looks around. Is that cowboy candy?
Yeah,
Holy shit, I haven't had that stuff since I was a kid.
that was probably when this was canned, but give it a shot.
Oh shit. Okay.
God damn.
Sort of walks over.
Like,
Are you gonna try one too?
put them on your chest.
Yeah,
And like glue it down.
Well, fuck. Okay. Caston goes to turn the jar on top, takes off the side thing, and then there's just that little sealy top on top, like a mason jar. Takes one of his daggers out and sets it on the table and sort of starts prying. And you hear that very familiar thunk. And then the air is wafted with sugar onions with a little bit of vinegar to them. It is a strong smell. Stronger than you remember.
been sitting in it for a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Jurdan digs a finger in there and grabs one. His hand covered in this syrupy, sort of almost translucent film. Kasdan digs a finger in. Do you as well?
Gross.
Yep, go for one too.
Alright. Hey, guys. You know what's cool about this? This is like hunting camp.
Is it?
Yeah. Enjoy your guys' company. Hey, thanks for inviting us out to your house, buddy. He sort of holds his little onion pearl out as if to cheers it with you guys. Kasdan sort of lifts it up and you guys sort of squish your little onion boys together, and you can feel in your hands. It kind of feels like an old grape.
Oh no!
Where they get really squishy.
Do not. Oh god.
You pop them in your mouth. Roll a percentile dice.
Oh boy.
I'm
Well, 2 of them.
I am viscerally disgusted by this fictional onion.
95.
Okay, Jurdan got a 97. Oh shit. And Keston got a 0.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So you and Jurdan take a bite, and while mushy, it's still like this. It's like sweet onion. It doesn't have a good texture necessarily, but the flavors are really nice. It's sort of this acidic, sweet, oniony, but the onion's almost turned into garlic at this point, so it's just nice. It feels like it'd be much better like spread on like toast or something maybe next time. But roll a Constitution save for Kasdan, please.
Look at what his con score is. 10. Oh, poor Kasdan.
He takes a bite, and something about it is just bad, and he throws up immediately on the floor. And what's your passive perception? Is it 7 or?
Icillius 18.
Oh yeah, the middle of that onion pearl is black, and you don't know what it tasted like, but it looks gross.
Ugh.
And he just wipes his face. Oh god, I didn't like that at all.
I had a feeling it was going to be kind of a gamble with these. Did you find anything you can work with?
Well, the tomatoes. Maybe those herbs. I could make a tomato soup, probably. If you wanted to try to catch some fish, a seafood stew's not bad this way.
Sure, if you think you can work with it.
Yeah, I wish we had bread, though. All we have is hardtack.
Bread doesn't last very long.
No, it does not. Well, if you want to go fishing, I'd be happy to go fishing. We could put these onions on the end and see what we catch.
Probably some weird shit. I'm down.
Alright. Okay, I'll clean up in here and try to get a soup going or something. Jurdan takes off his armor, puts on his coat, grabs a fishing pole, tosses you one, heads out. At this point, Kasdan. Oh! Okay, be safe!
Did our best?
Oh, not you!
Oh.
Got a message. They're okay. Something about birds.
Bird?
Hold on.
Else?
Oh, god damn it!
So, what's
They
going on
found
there, buddy?
zombies.
What?
Zombies.
Like, a lot?
I don't know. They said they're fine.
Okay.
I told Elenia to throw light at them. I don't know if that works.
I mean, I don't think that's how anything works, but sure. She'll
Okay.
figure it out.
Alright, and then you guys head down to the end of your dock, and there's another lantern at the end that you could light, sort of hanging on a pole that overlooks the water. And you and Jurdan spend a little time. Go ahead and both of you make me survival checks. So Jurdan, roll a survival check. And Icillius.
Hey,
18?
he's good.
Ooh.
Survival. 18.
Okay, both of you are able, with the onions, to catch 2 pretty good-sized largemouth bass. Which are definitely very good eating. Icillius and Jurdan both know how to clean these fish, since you grew up in the area. And yeah, it should be plenty of food. It takes you about half an hour. Not a long time at all. And luckily, the way this lake is shaped, you're in a deeper area off your dock to be able to catch a nice-sized fish like this. It's very good. It's a mild white fish that's got good flavor to it. And take that in, clean it up, pop it in the stew with Cedar. You guys hang out for a little bit. Anything specific you wanted to do in the house during the evening?
No, not tonight. Just kind of tidy up here and there, make it a little less abandoned.
Okay. Jurdan while eating. And Kasdan, roll a cooking check. So performance with advantage. Let's get a cook.
Oh wow. 25.
That's some good ass fish stew, given the circumstances. It's nice to be eating in your home. It might have something to do with that. And while it's canned ingredients, otherwise the fish is fresh. And you kind of haven't had like a meal like this. Like even the feasting night the other day, while that was good food, it was like Sig was being crazy, right? This just feels like you're comfortable, you're safe in your house, friends are around, you're warm, and you're eating this good stew. The only thing that would help is maybe if you guys had some ale and some bread and some butter, maybe a pack of cards. Like, you actually start to loosen up a little bit. And
We should have brought drinks.
can head into town tomorrow if you want. I don't mind taking a couple days off. Oh.
Yeah.
Fix the roof. I guess we could tidy this place up, cut the grass.
That'd be nice.
Do you have
Get
any-
back to a little normalcy for a little bit here.
So there's only the 2 couches in the living room. And Jurdan and Kasdan, I guess, assume they're going to sleep there.
Yeah.
But you haven't headed into the bedroom yet.
No.
After a certain point, Jurdan's like, do you want me to make a place on the floor for myself?
I'll take the couch.
Okay, man.
It's fine.
Alright. He sort of takes his coat and rolls it up and makes a makeshift pillow on the side and starts to lay back, and Kasdan leans back and starts to doze off. The fire is really cozy. You throw another log on there and it does a little sparky thing and starts to crack. Anything you want to do?
Just dim the oil lamps and head into the bedroom.
Okay, you do so and crack open the door. And inside you have the, in the back of the room, dead center on the wall, you have a, about a queen-size bed. It's made, it's got a nice headboard on it, with a blue blankets. Obviously, it's all very dusty. The pillows are wool filled and they look lumpy and very settled. Julia's vanity is to the right, in the right side corner. Your nightstand is on the left. You also have a gun rack on the wall there. No guns on it. And then you have on the two corners closest to you on the left and right, there's a wardrobe on each side. And then an oil lamp on the nightstand and an oil lamp next to the door where you're standing on the inside of it. And then a window that looks out towards the garden. And then a window that looks out towards on the other side that looks out towards the lake. Both of which have their curtains drawn.
I'll light the oil lamp on the nightstand.
Okay. You do so, and then just this soft sort of orange-yellow flicker. You sort of stand near the bed.
And just take a look around and then lay down on top of the bed.
Lay down on top of the bed, and it gives that sort of creak. And it's very stiff at first. And then your body just sort of sinks into it.
Just try to sleep.
You lay your head back, and your mind's at first racing of, Julia and being back home and missing her, and then after maybe 5 minutes of what you thought was going to be really hard to fall asleep, you get this nice, calm feeling, like being far away from home and coming home and finally being able to sleep in your own bed, even though it's stiff and dusty and old. You fall asleep peacefully. You do not have to roll nightmare checks when you are sleeping in this bed.
Cool.
We head back over.
God, I'm surprised I'm still starving after hearing the description of fermented gross cowboy candy.
Have a donut.
I don't want anything sweet right now.
Oh,
I actually haven't eaten food today.
no. You hear the creek a ways away, back at the camp in the on the edge of the Winterlight Forest. Sort of lulls you to sleep a little bit. It's nice sleeping in here. It's cozy. It doesn't feel necessarily super safe, but you feel better knowing you're covered in a fog, and you have these massive trees over top of you, and a badass centaur. At one point, Barlow comes over to each of you, sort of rests his head on your hip, looking for loves.
I love him.
I give him
Yeah.
love.
And every time, he likes it. And then when it seems like that human's done, he moves on to the next one. Goes over to Sotantes, who does the same. Who's now down and sort of sideways on the ground in this sort of raised little area. Barlow, go to bed. Sort of walks back over and sort of spins around. And then he lays down. Professor, begin dreaming. You wake up. And you're in the camp and everyone's sleeping. And you can see from the sort of flaps in the tent, you can see a little beam of light flashing through, like almost like a car is parked out front of it and tie beams run.
Whoever's closest to me, I kind of nudge him.
Okay, it'd be
Probably me.
probably you. You nudge Alenia and she
I
doesn't
try
wake
and
up.
get her. She doesn't wake up at all. God. I kind of go to the seam where the light's coming through and try and look out.
Roll perception check.
Nine.
You look out, and it's weird. You see a bright day, sort of a grove that goes up, and there's one tree in the middle of it.
Oh, God.
It's the same tree with inky blackness dripping.
One more time, I try and nudge, and this like hard.
Yeah, just
nothing. Okay. Oh, God. I slowly kind of peek my head out more, see if I can see anything else.
Peek your head out. Roll another perception check.
13.
13. At the base of the tree, you see sort of backlit by light that's seems to be like setting behind them, and the light going past, so it's almost like just a silhouette shining toward you. You see a humanoid figure on their knees digging at the base of the tree.
Humanoid, you said?
Yep.
Dude, is it
Like average height for a human.
Does it look to be wearing like normal human clothing?
It's hard to tell
or...
with a 13 and a silhouette.
Okay. I'm going to.
Looks to be digging with hands though.
I'm gonna regret this. Professor never learns their fucking lesson. Okay.
Swear to God, if I have to draw another fucking portrait, I'm coming for your ass.
Gonna, as sneakily as possible. I can't imagine it'll make a difference,
Okay.
but I'm
You can
going to
roll stealth
attempt to sneak.
Like towards the.
Yeah, so I can try and get a better look.
Okay.
I had to make a fucking curious character. Terrible decision. 18.
18. Pretty sneaky. Push your way out of it. Start sneaking forward. It's nice now that you're not clopping everywhere you go. Climbing up this hill. Slowly. Staying low, not that it's hard now. You feel safe getting within 50 feet. So you stop at about 50 feet. You don't do anything? Still seeing this. And you can kind of hear this like heavy breathing. This, and you can hear the scooping of soil with bare hands.
Do I discern any more detail about the figure? Like in terms
roll
of...
perception check.
Oh yeah, that's much better. 25.
you see a pretty fair-skinned man with slick-back hair in normal attire. It looks like a normal shirt, rolled-up sleeves, slacks. You said 19?
25.
25.
Yeah.
Okay. Normal slacks, some shoes that are, as he's bent over like this with his legs back here, you can see the shoes are obviously like work boots or something, digging in. And just behind the boots, and you can just barely see, you can see a small purple book setting behind.
I'm gonna point my wand and say, whoever that is, stop what you're doing and turn around.
Okay. And there's no response, and he continues to dig.
Shit.
Didn't even flinch.
No reaction to my presence whatsoever.
Either didn't hear you or expected you to talk. You don't really know. Like, totally not surprised or not aware. One or the other.
Do you know anything about this tree? It's linked to the necromancer's book. It killed me today. I'd rather not. I haven't even broken this body in yet. Could we not fuck with the murder tree?
Digging. And then you hear sort of the sound of like a glass bottle filled with water and marbles. Sort of like a ding, boing, boing, boing. And you see the figure shove a hand at the bottom and start covering the hole that was dug with his hands.
I just continue observing to see if...
Covering. Patting it down. Heavy breathing. Wipes his hands off on his shirt. You see there's a little canteen. You hear water splashing. Water being poured out onto the hands and cleaned. Wiped off again. Canteen. Put back on the side. Turn, and then there's like a satchel. And the satchel opens and the book goes in the satchel. Kind of stands up and puts an arm against the tree and sort of takes a rest for a second, facing away from you.
I want to try and sort of swing around to see if I can get a better vantage point and see their face.
Okay. Left would be kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
Left would be this way, and right would be the other way, around the back.
Left, so I'm not in
Okay.
so the
Are you
arm is
trying to be
anyway.
sneaky as well?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and roll stealth.
18.
All right, 18 again. Start to walk around. Start to move. Roll a perception check.
21.
Okay, it's sort of hard to see with the light and kind of like it's in your eyes and it's sort of washing the colors in a weird way. You know how that dusk light kind of does that.
Yeah.
Watch around, trying to look and try to get a good vantage. Sort of wiping his brow. nods to himself. And then stops. And freezes still. You can see his face slowly turning in your direction. His eyes and you see it's a human in their 20s or so. Again, very fair-skinned and very clearly Crosley.
It looks like a younger Crosley, though. Right?
Yeah.
You said
And
20s?
then looks right past you and starts to walk in the direction you came, towards the camp. And as you turn back towards the camp, it's not a tent. It's the door to a modest-looking cabin with a little chimney on top and a little smoke coming out of it.
That motherfucker is a flag.
Oh no.
And then you about to turn and follow. When you feel a hand over your face. And Avelios is here. He pulls out his bow and he turns towards the opening. And out there you see and hear the moans of distant undead in every direction.
Motherfucker.
And you wake up Alenia. And you go to wake up Satantes. And you see he's already awake. And Egnir is as well. And that's where we'll pick up next session.
God damn it.
Told you guys I had a fucking intuition. I knew that motherfucker is not dead.
Well, he's younger. Guess you don't know what that means.
I imagine, and this is just speculation, that somehow, via the book, I am connected to it, and he is connected to it, and I am seeing a memory of a
It's like
tree.
Harry Potter and Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the
You're the
Harry Potter
phylactery.
to our fucking Voldemort. We have to go find the Horcrux and
the
fucking kill
professor
him.
is the phylactery. You have to kill him in order to get rid of Crosley. Sorry, Paul.
I'm starving.
Yeah,
Holy
same.
shit.
Well, before we go,
Giveaway?
we have a giveaway. Let me get Nightbot up real quick.
We need a basilisk to bite. Here you go.
Yes.
A basilisk?
It's a Harry
Chamber
Potter
of
joke.
Secrets.
Oh,
They stab
I was
and
thinking
the-
like, does that do lich things? Because basilisks and D&D are not the same.
I'd kill a man for some dice.
Well, maybe you won't have to.
Do it, Bellum.
We shall see. Okay,
Oh.
so
I feel like you'd appreciate this.
I saw that.
Yeah. Didn't Missy say it at some point? Because I thought she did. And I was
Yes.
gonna use that as a gift, but I couldn't find it.
What?
'Cause I feel like
okay,
it'd be so much more
so
fitting.
everybody in chat can do the keyword. This keyword.
For Andy's Roses.
This keyword giveaway is for dice. I have some green, I've got some dark blue, and I've got some yeller. And we'll send that to one lucky fan. the keyword tonight, and only type it once. Don't repeat, or it will ban you forever. You'll just lose the giveaway. Type it once. The keyword is book. B-O-O-K. The keyword is book.
Professor's gonna have book PTSD now.
Just get rid of all the books
Which
in
is
the heart and all.
that's terrible for a wizard.
I know, right?
I love that.
A wizard who's scared of books.
That would actually be kind of a fun character to play someday.
Every time you go to write something
Someone
down in your spell book, you
read
get really
this
nervous.
to me. A wizard who only uses audiobooks.
You pay someone else to transcribe into your book for you.
You could have an apprentice that reads the spells. How would that work? They'd have to use their action.
They'd have to do it and then effectively teach you verbally and stuff how to
They'd have to use their action when you cast the spell at the same time. It'd be very interesting. So B-O-O-K, there's 50-something of you, and that's the only people that want to try to win this book? Are you sure? Or win this? There's only 14 of you that want to try to do this? Is that real life? I mean, there's so many more of you. You could win. I'll send it to your home. It's up to you. I mean, you know, I don't want to force happiness upon you.
It's free.
It's free. The price is free.
What the fuck? Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Okay, so I'll be last call for that. I'm going to give you guys like 10 seconds. And I'm going to roll it.
I have a drum roll thing. Hold on.
Do a drum roll. I like a drum roll.
The
Oh, did they?
soundboard?
One of these apps has it.
In your pack mule?
Yeah, it's pretty random.
Is it supposed to end?
Oh, just tell me when you want it, too.
Done. Crimson 11. Crimson 11. You've been following since July. You have won. So, Crimson 11, just send me your information. In a whisper on here. I need your, the mail lady said I need your Christian name, but give me your Muslim name instead. And your address, of course.
Wait, Crimson 11 said I won already, and then said I didn't use the keyword. Choose somebody else.
You use the keyword? Oh, okay.
How did
Roll
that
it!
happen?
Hold on. You didn't use the keyword. How does that work? Hold on.
Did it still pick the last winner or something? Did you fuck it
No,
up?
I'll just roll it again. Boom! Medicated person has won. Psych! Medicated person won. I don't know why Crimson 11
Something wrong with whatever the
got
app
put
is
in.
used.
Does medicated person want to win too?
They had book, so...
That's weird.
Nope, I didn't use it at all. Huh, that's so weird. It's
Huh.
maybe it was before I put in the code word.
Well, medicated person didn't
What
say
about
book,
medicated
so
person?
Clearly they entered to win.
Holy
so.
crap! Medicated person said, "Holy crap!" That means you wanted to win. It worked. I don't know why the giveaway thing was weird. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you. So medicated
It's
person.
in a message with ebook in it, so I wonder if it just.
Oh, that might be why.
Oh.
Or does it have to be a message with only the keyword?
No, it might have picked up that book since there's a dash.
That
might have
been
picked
it.
up.
That might have been it.
That makes sense.
All right,
I
so
don't know.
I thought Crimson 11 had won.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can win more than once, but that's fine. Thank you so much for passing the savings on to your fellow friends. Medicated person, so send me your information in a whisper here on Twitch. Your address. It's dope if you live in the United States. It's way cheaper. But you don't have to. Although you could move for the dice if you wanted to make it easy on me. You're going to pack up your entire life and move to the continental United
For one
States.
pack of dice.
For one pack of dice that will definitely be cheaper than... like, these are not expensive, but they are cool. And then tell me your favorite color. I got green, blue, and yellow.
I'm gonna guess blue.
I'm going to guess blue, too. Who knows? And then, obviously, your name, because apparently they get grumpy if I don't have a real name. Okay, So, I think that's it. We will convene next week, right? I don't think there's anything stopping us. And we may also have a live. I don't know. It's up to Alex and Randy, and we'll see what happens.
I'm still on the clinic rotation, so I'm good.
Okay. Cool beans. So we'll have an announcement for you in the official Discord. If you're not a member of the official Discord, you're missing out on a lot of good memes.
Weird furry pictures of our characters
furry
from
pictures.
this one's significant other.
We got memes about things that happen. The professor memes were very good last week.
Oh
so,
god, the memes.
We also have announcements, obviously, for when things happen. We do events sometimes, like we did an event where people could get put in the game for next time. So, yeah, go join that. And
no bird feet.
I love you all deeply. Is there anything else? I think we're good.
Alex, where are the feet pics?
Yeah, we need
where are
feet
the cowboy
pics.
bird
They're
feet
coming.
pics?
Ooh, cowboy feet
Please
pics.
kill this meme forever.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! And
the
then you can be
meme-
shooting a gun with your toes?
Yeehaw.
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 Okay.
For one.
Oh my god.
Well, everybody have a wonderful night. I love you all deeply. Who wants to do the slurp? Happy Halloween, by the way.
Happy Spoopy-ween.
The spook will happen next week as well.
Also, happy next day, which is Discount Candy Day. The best day for
Discount
adults.
Candy Day is tomorrow. Celebrate by buying some candy. Alright. Everybody have a wonderful night. Randy will still be wearing that. I don't think it's going to come off. So.
No, my chem's back. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
I
in
feel
now.
like my true self and my chemical romance is back, so
Yeah. He's going to see a marching band tomorrow.
this is just me now.
It's just me now.
Alright. You guys have a wonderful night. Randy, can we get like a weird face real quick?
When is that different?
Oh my god!
It's
I
haunting.
hate it. I
It is
hate
utterly
it so much.
haunting.
Stop. No, turn it off.
Alright.